Hey, how's it going?
Miss Julie on my screen
Hey,
today.
peeps.
True crime
Hey, my
tales in
sweet
her own
darlings.
way.
So happy you're here.
Love for everyone
Guys,
she shares. Life
that's so much
stories
fun.
told with flair. She dives into mystery. Brings suspense in every scene.
Hi, Randy.
Smiling,
Good to see you, sweetie.
heart so pure. In her world we all adore. Miss Julie's world.
Good to see you.
It's where we turn to life.
Hey, guys, it's fun.
And filled with
Hey,
every
darling.
word.
How is everybody?
Nights and coffee
Oh, good to see
sips. Unfolding plots from twisted scripts. Through dark days,
Hey, guys.
she
Sorry.
lights our way, making sure we're here to
Hey.
stay. Miss Julie.
Good to see y'all.
Is where we turn to life.
Hi, my darlings.
And fills with every word. Oh, late nights and coffee sips.
Hey, baby. Hey, y'all. How are you? How's my darlings? I love you guys so much. Hope we got a treat for you today. And you guys can thank Miss Biscuit Head for this because it was her suggestion and her request to have Miss Marita on panel. So I'm excited about it, y'all. So let's see what we got here. Victoria, Cripple Creek Farm, Dumpling, my sweet, sweet Dumpling. Eve, hey darling. Love you, sweetheart. Hi, H. Davis. Hey, darling. Victoria Burgess, I got you. Sharon Shelton, hey, darling. There's my Jinx, my BFF Jinkies. Hey, darling. Biscuit Head, Biscuit Head, Biscuit Head. That's our Biscuit Head, y'all. And Stella is okay. Hi, Stella. Thank you, darling. Thank you for coming in. Oh, and I forgot to put it on subscribers. I do that every single time. Now, how crazy is that? How crazy is that? I don't know why. Why I end up doing that every single time. Tracy Ludwig, hey darling, my Brandy Overstreet. That's my girl, y'all. Hashi! Hashi. I'm so happy y'all here. Thank you so much. So, as you guys know, Miss Marita has, how we got to know Miss Marita was she was coming over on Miss Stacy's. And she's always been so much fun and sharing her stories with us. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring Miss Marita up.
Come.
Hey!
Hi, everyone. Hi, Miss Chewy. Hi, chat. Hello. Hope everyone's having a good night. It's beautiful here in Philly. It's hot.
Yeah,
But it's July. I don't know. People get, oh, it's hot out. Yeah, it's summer. That happens. Unless you live in Australia or the other side, it's winter.
Right.
It's even warm there, though.
It could be a whole lot worse.
You know what I said the other day? I was walking somewhere and I ran into someone. They said something. I said, you don't have to shovel heat and you don't slip on sunshine.
That's true. That's so true.
I prefer the heat, and I probably should live down south. I don't know. But I prefer warm weather. You could sit
Yeah, I do too.
outside. You could hang on the stoop, talk to friends. All the kids are out playing and stuff. In the winter, it's dark, it's dank, depressing. You're stuck in the house. That's not, nah, unless
That's
it's now.
not fun, is it?
No,
Not fun at
no,
all.
it's boring, and
Yeah.
especially I live alone, Maria, and you know, I I don't want anybody coming over anyway. I want to be outside doing stuff. It's fun. There's always something to do here. Always.
Oh
It's
yeah.
never dull.
Well, I'm very fortunate where I live is because I live very close to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. So
Uh,
Gatlinburg. So I'm talking, 30
you got
minutes. I'm there. So
you got a
yeah.
lot of things to do then.
Yeah.
Yeah, the club. Well, I'm about 2 hours from the seashore. We just call
Oh.
it down the shore, the ocean, and about 2 hours east west is the Poconos, or east, the Pocono Mountains, where the Appalachian Mountains start, and so I'm stuck in the beauty of two different things that I can do, and we
That's
have
that's
Hershey
a
Park here,
that's
so
a great description. The
yeah,
beauty. The beauty. And
yeah,
it is.
you can I could go to the ocean, go to the mountains.
We,
And in the middle is a place called Hershey Park. I'm sure you've had Hershey
mhm.
products. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm
Hershey
about an hour and a
Pennsylvania.
half from Hershey Park if I want to go to an amusement park, but I'm
Oh
not
wow.
really into that. So I don't like rides. I get
I do.
motion sickness.
I like roller coasters.
No, I look at them and I get a little queasy. We weren't even allowed to drive in my dad's car. I'm the youngest of 8 children, and we all got car sick. And it
Oh
was almost
wow.
like when we're going to church. Well, you run beside the car.
Oh, bless your heart.
Yeah, no, we didn't really, but it was always a
Yeah.
bag. And I always
Yeah.
felt bad for my dad, but you gave birth to us, we're 50% property of yours. So
Exactly.
yeah, while we're all puking in your car, we were bad. And so I'm really honored to be here. Very big
Oh,
honor. Thank you, Biscuit Head, for asking for me. I never think my life is anything but boring. I
oh
think
no.
it, but I think because where I grew up, we all were similar, that I never thought I was any different than anybody else.
Well,
Uh,
different parts of the country, it's like there's so many of us that don't really know anything about the Catholic Church and things that in Catholic school. We're all used to public school, basically. Well, most of us anyway.
yeah,
So yeah.
Catholic school. I gotta say, I we didn't go to kindergarten because there was not a Catholic school kindergarten at the time. You could go to the public school, but I in my grade there were 160 kids, and people say, "What, in the whole school?" No, just my grade. And you
Oh
had three
wow.
classrooms per grade, 55 kids in a class.
Ooh, golly, that's a
But we
lot.
had families that had 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14 kids. So the only thing that made us different was our nationalities. We were Irish, German, Italian, French, Polish, We were unfortunately very homogenized, to put it politely. We were very white. We were not different in any sort of financial, nobody was rich. Okay, the kids that only came from 3-kid families, they had a little more than, but we all wore hand-me-downs, got the extra uniforms from the school that were donated after other kids graduated. We were all the same in that sense, but I didn't know it back then. And I thought we were poor. I thought, why is sister giving me uniforms and nobody else? Here she was giving them to other people. And it just, we didn't know it. And then when we did know, we were a little older, it was like, we're all the same. Nobody comes from anything in particular. Our parents moved us to this neighborhood. I live in a beautiful neighborhood, I got to admit, but because it was a safe neighborhood. This is where you want to raise your kids if you live in Philly. You don't want to be raising down what you've seen Kensington videos or
Yes.
other.
Yes.
We don't have row homes here. I grew up in a 3-story, 5-bedroom home. And some people say, wow, that's a big house. Yeah, it was, but it was normal. Everybody grew up in a house like that. We all had big 3-story homes. They're twins, but we all had the same. But it took me a while to realize it. No, I'm not poor. We're all the same. By like 3rd, 4th grade, I caught on that no, they have ice cream and cake birthday parties just like I do. You know, we weren't going to Chuck E. Cheese's. We never went out to eat. That was, and plus my mother's cooking was really good. And so it wasn't worth going out to eat.
No
But
need for it.
and we lived near a lot of pizza parlors, but we didn't order out pizza or anything. That was a big treat. I mean, that was usually now, I'm 10 years old. My oldest sibling's 25. So if she's ordering out pizza, then she might give you a slice or something. But we weren't ordering it out. My parents weren't. It just wasn't in the, it wasn't in the bank to be doing that, to waste the money on that when you could buy a ton more groceries with that money. And some families did order out, but it was the norm that we didn't, and that we were all the same. And it took a long time to realize that. And it's funny, Miss Chewy, I look back now, your best friends are the kids you made in grade school. I'm telling you, I'm still friends with, I'd say, 3/4 of my graduating class. We have class reunions every 5 years. Now, the nuns were tough. They were the problem, not us kids. We were good. Imagine being 70-something years old and having 55 teenagers staring you in the face when you don't even want to be there. You want to friggin' retire and live in the nun house.
You can see that now.
Yeah. Well, I went back there and taught, so that's why I say it.
Right.
But it just, they, as much as they were evil, they put up with a lot of crap from us. We were probably more evil. And I look back now and think I could never imagine a better education than the one I got. For somehow, some way, 6 rows of 9 kids lined up like cattle in a queue, and we all learned. How did they do it? I don't know. Even stupid kids like me learned somehow, some way. I mean, we were just boom, 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 boom. And I look back and I think, God bless them, because they must have walked in every morning with like a little fear in them. Like, I could smell those teenagers. Because, you go to Catholic school, grade school till 8th grade. So I was 13 when I graduated and then when I did graduate, I went into public school. I went to a public high school. I chose to get away from the Catholic school thing. I didn't want the uniform anymore. I didn't want the nuns anymore. I didn't want to be yelled at for blinking. And I'd mastered cheating by that time, how to look on somebody's paper. So I was going to do fine in public school. And I loved public high school, but it was the first place I ever saw a Black person.
Oh, really?
Yep. I used to see them, a Black kid my age. They didn't live up here. and I didn't go to school with any. And you pretty much stayed in your own neighborhood back then.
Segregation, basically.
No, it wasn't segregation. It was, why do you want to go anywhere else? You have everything you want here. I had a park down the street, had a playground, a swimming pool. We had our own pool. The suburbs, I lived right, the street right here is Montgomery County, which the rich people live. It just, well, not rich, but just better off than us. So I didn't grow up with any children of color. We had 2 Asian kids in my class. That was it. At
Oh, wow.
160 kids, everybody was white. And when I went into public high school, 9th grade, I went, oh, that's what a black kid looks like. Because I never saw, I used to see the bus terminal was down the street from my house. And the black women used to get off, and these rich cars would come down the street and pick them up. They were the housekeepers for the people who lived up here in the suburbs. And I'd see them get dropped off at night, and the guys that worked in the cemeteries, they were usually Hispanic or of color, and they were the grave diggers. Other than that, I never knew. And people say, but you lived in Philadelphia. You live in Philly. Yeah, now it's mixed, and I love it. But 1968, even up to 1975, no, never saw one. And it was not like a shock, like it was like a wow, like an eye-opening experience. And it was a cool experience because I met wonderful people, and most of the school was Jewish. I was finally, for the first time, the odd man out, but I was accepted. They accepted everybody. But yeah, it was the area where my high school, it was 85% Jewish. I graduated with 1,000 kids, and over 800 of them were Jewish. Lovely people. But there too opened my mind up to other people.
Right.
How other people think, live, do. Making great friends who I'm still friends with. And Facebook brought a lot of that around in 2009 when we all reconnected. But we still hang, we still talk. I ran into somebody at the supermarket yesterday that I went to high school with. It was great to see her. I hadn't seen her since our 40th reunion right before COVID. So it's a cool thing that I got to experience my Catholic faith and Catholic education, public school, public education when it was good in Philadelphia, and to learn about people of other races, colors, faith that was different than mine, and to almost like spread my wings and start hanging away from my neighborhood into other areas, like something as simple as going to a football game, but you're going with the whole group of that. We're an integrated group. We're not just a bunch of white kids from Fox Chase that go to St. Cecilia's. We're this integrated Northeast high school, live in the Northeast section of Philadelphia. We're a spectrum of color and faith, and we all got along fine, and it was great. And I am forever thankful to my parents, who were wonderful people, that they gave me that chance to learn about everybody else and not just keep me in this homogenized world, because my parents were very liberal. I came from they had a line they drew on certain things like abortion and stuff, but when it came to people, they were very liberal. My dad always said, nobody's better than you. And I'd go like, yeah, finally, Dad's sticking up for me. Then he'd throw in, but you're not better than anybody else. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. And that was like a mantra he had towards us. And it wasn't to put his kids down. It was to actually, that lifts you up to know that you're as good as anybody. Don't ever let anybody say you're not, but don't say you're better than the person below you. Because as I got older in life, I learned that It takes one thing to kick you down. And
Sure sounds like you had great parents.
he was. My parents were very smart. My dad was college educated. My mom was a professional opera singer before she married my dad when she was a teenager and younger than that on the radio. She was a singer and she had a scholarship to Juilliard. She chose to marry my dad instead.
Wow.
I was just like, Mom, Dad was hot. Yeah, I know. He's good. But why'd you marry him? We could have been rich. Damn it. We could have been rich. And she used to laugh. But up to the day she died, she sang, and I could still hear it. And my dad wrote.
Do you have recordings of her?
No. Oh. My sister, my two sisters, the ones my mom liked the best too.
They got
one those. Of them, my sister Madeline, she's about 10 years older than me, 9 years older than me. She took my mom's pictures from her wedding and cut them all up and played paper dolls with them.
Oh, you know, why when she was little?
Yeah. Not when she was like 4 years, 5 years. My mom said, I should have known she was too quiet downstairs. She went down the basement and opened my mother's hope chest.
Oh,
and took out the pictures and we only have a few of my mom's wedding pictures left. I have one of the wedding party. And then Janine, the one who's a year older than me, but ended up in school with me from 3rd grade on because my parents had to hold her back a year because she had ADD and she never paid attention. And
sounds like my Jinkies.
Yeah. I think she's worse than Jinkies. I think because she's my sister and I see it. But my mom, we had reel-to-reel tapes of my mom singing back in those days, and there was a 5-gallon thing of paint that my dad was using to paint the porch. My mother's silk wedding dress and the tapes she spilled all over. So we lost all the tapes and my mother's beautiful wedding gown. So
that is heartbreaking.
I know. I felt bad like years later when I found out the whole story. I'm like, Janine, I can't believe you did that to Mommy. She said, I was a kid. What did I know? And I'm like, you don't just say I'm a kid. What do I know? And you know that's Mom's wedding dress. You shouldn't have been in that thing. So there's no pictures of us when we were little. Janine ruined them all with the paint. So any baby pictures of me had to come from my cousin. The youngest I have, I was 17 months. There's nothing of any of us. People like there's older like school pictures, but baby pictures and stuff all got ruined. And Janine got away with it. I'm sure she got hit because my dad liked to hit. My mom never hit us. My mom never yelled at us. It was worse when you didn't get any response. Then you knew she was really pissed off. Yeah, I never had that problem. Believe it or not, I never got in trouble. My dad did. Never. My mom never yet. She yelled at me once. When I was 4 years old, we went to see Mary Poppins. My uncle owned a movie theater in Kensington, and my great uncle. And she took the 4 youngest of our kids and a couple neighbors, like my best friend. We're still best friends 60 years later. And we all went to see Mary Poppins, and Billy and I were running around the theater, my bestie. And my uncle had us so jacked up on sugar and stuff. I'd never been to a movie theater. And I got the shit beat out of me for running around. And to the day my mother died, she felt guilty about it.
Oh,
I didn't even remember it after the movie started, but moms remember stuff. And but yeah, being Catholic is to me a badge of honor. I know some people in the chat were once Catholic, a lot have left because of one was the priest scandal. But I had to draw a line to what was human and what was my faith. And the sexual abuse happened with those, it happened very bad in my church. And I was the head of the CYO with these kids.
Oh, wow.
And I felt guilty, and I was going to leave. And I spoke to many people to help me get through that. And I had to realize that they don't represent my relationship with Jesus and with God and the Holy Spirit. They are human pigs, and God will deal with them. It's not for me to deal with them.
Marita, the devil's in every church.
It's in everyone. I think it especially these mega churches. Everybody says, well, they take all of the money and they live off that. I would not want to control anybody's money, because I can't say I wouldn't take something. Who knows? You really don't know.
You don't. Sometimes people can get desperate and get into a situation that I can see that it happening.
Yeah.
I do, and that's it. Honestly, I always thought that my kids had to be hungry for me to steal. I just can't see myself, taking something that didn't belong to me unless I didn't have, my kids were hungry and I had no other means to feed them.
That's an honest, and I think that's probably the most common reason why people steal. My children are hungry, and especially in today's economy. I mean, I don't know how parents are doing it, but they're doing it. But what gets me is when these preachers and priests, I'm sure they're just as guilty, because they get a lot of money in that church on Sundays when that little basket goes by, and I go like this. I don't give money. I want not till they pay those children that have been sexually abused. Then I'll give money. But till then, they ain't getting a cent from me. I'm there to worship. I'm not there to give you money. But these pastors and priests and rabbis, and I don't know who runs what they're called that run the mosques, but they get all this money thrown at them. Then they start thinking, well, I can take 200. I could take 1,000. And these people that run these mega churches, they're just taking all that money for themselves. Look at the houses they're living in.
Yeah, but the clothes that they wear,
and the suits
that they drive,
the airplanes they fly. I look at like my church and I think, well, my priests don't wear suits. They wear black pants, a black shirt, and a white little thing. And sometimes you'll see them in a polo shirt and shorts running around the neighborhood on a hot day or something. But usually they're in their priest garb, which is hot. And so they're not, if they take money, I don't know what they're doing with it. But I'm sure they're taking money. It's too hard. It's too tempting not to. Like slip 100 in your pocket. Who's going to know?
Right.
I do have a woman friend that I know from the school that she was taking money, but she had a gambling habit. And nobody knew it, but the pastor fired her because apparently she was taking large amounts from our youth group. And instead of letting the parish know, and because everybody in the parish was like, hire her back, we're mad, we signed petitions, we had no clue, because he didn't, which is the right thing, is not to tell us. That's between her and him and God.
Right.
But he hired her back and she did it again. Then she was gone. But then she blamed him for everything. It's like, aren't you the one gambling with it down in Atlantic City? Because Atlantic City isn't far from here. It's a 90-minute ride. an hour on a good night if there's not a lot of traffic. It takes longer to get from Philly to the bridge than to get from the bridge to Short Points in New
Oh,
Jersey.
really?
Oh,
Wow.
Philadelphia is horrible to drive in. It takes at least 45 minutes to get to Center City,
Phew.
where this the city part of it is, the work
Right.
part and the businesses, the big hospitals, all that stuff. It takes forever. It's not good to drive in Philadelphia if you're not being like speeding somewhere. You're hitting a pothole that's about the size of a swimming pool. And
Wow.
but I still say it's the best place to live.
So you went to public high school, right?
Yes.
And you then you got a college education.
Yes. I went to a Catholic college, Ukrainian Catholic.
Ukrainian Catholic.
Yes, Manor College, and I got a degree in elementary education, but I still have to. I'm not done yet. I was going to also online college at St. Joe's University, which is a college here in Philadelphia, but it's very well known. And but my health, I can't. It's not worth going.
I'm sorry. So are you still wanting to teach now?
No, I can't because of my health. So it's not worth me. But I love teaching. I loved it.
So that's what I was going to get to. So you went into the beautiful, beautiful world of teaching.
Yes, but I went in as a permanent substitute. I was considered. I didn't have my own class. I mean, I had my own class for 3 months here, another class for 2 months here, but I didn't have my own, like, come to my desk. And, I had a desk out in the hallway because I was the floor aide.
Gotcha.
I was an aide and a teacher. But the funny thing is, I taught where I went to grammar school that I swore I'd never go back to.
The Catholic school, right?
Yeah, St. Cecilia's. That's the school I went to, St. Cecilia's, and that's where I taught, St. Cecilia's. And it was flashback city. I would stand sometimes in that classroom and I'd look around and I'd sometimes tell the kids some stories like, hey, you should have seen when Jimmy Young's head got put through this blackboard here by Sister John the Pomacene. And but it was probably my greatest achievement in life. I don't have children, so that would be your greatest. But my greatest achievement, other than sobriety, is getting a college education and teaching, because none of my siblings have college education. My brother has a different kind of degree for what he does with electronics, but nobody else went to college. And I just remember how proud my mom was.
I was going to say, good for you. Good for you. That's.
And I always look up and think my dad was proud too, but he died when I was 18, so of a heart attack. But he always told
you were the
people,
youngest.
Yes, and he always told everybody he didn't have to worry about me because he knew I had something in life. He said she wants to do something with her life. Like the rest of them were just bumps. Oh, he was funny. We were sitting doing homework one night, and my sister Janine and I asked her a question. We're in the kitchen. My dad's behind me at the sink doing his dishes. My mom worked night work. She was a waitress, but always had dinner ready and stuff before she left for work, and we just heated it up. And so I'm doing homework, and I asked Janine a question, and she said, "What are you, stupid?" And my dad turned around. He was big on wacky in the back of the head, whacked her in the back of the head and said, don't call your sister stupid. And I'm like, yeah. And he said, because not any is any brighter than the next. So he had to get his little like left hand, like, you're all stupid. Yeah, he was big on. We weren't allowed to call each other names.
Well, that's good.
The boys were not allowed to, like everybody always says to me, what, you were never hit by your brothers? No. We didn't fist fight. I mean, the girls were loud, obnoxious. There was 5 girls, 3 boys, and a boy in between each girl till the last 2 were girl. But we didn't fist fight. We didn't, like, the arguments were the girls of take my clothes off, you have my shirt on, this, that type of thing. It wasn't get off the phone, I need to make a call. The boys, they got along great with each other because they were 5 years apart from each other. They were all best buddies. And sports were their only argument. The Yankees are better than the Phillies type stuff and that kind of crap. We didn't have a house of arguing, and my parents never argued. And that's my hand to God and my father's grave.
You're
Never
very fortunate
argued. I never walked in the house and had to worry about, is dad going to be drunk and mad at mommy or something? And never. They were the most loving couple. My dad cherished my mom and vice versa, but they liked each other. Not just loved each other, they liked each other. They would sit at the table every Sunday after church. We went to church as a family, except when the older ones were older, they could sit on their own. We went to church as a family. When we come home, my dad would make breakfast. The only meal he ever cooked was Sunday breakfast. And it was the same thing every Sunday. There's something we have here called scrapple. It's so delicious. I recommend if you come across it, try it. It's gross looking because it's gray, but once you cook it and get it all crunchy, oh my God, it's great. And it's spicy, a little spicy, but not too, because we don't do spicy in my family. But we would sit as a family and eat breakfast. And we all had the same seats every meal at the table because there was 4 lefties and 4 right-handers. So we had to be placed strategically, so we weren't banging each other. And
that makes sense.
And after we get up and leave, clean our dishes and stuff, they would sit at the table and just read the paper, Sunday paper, and talk. And my sister-in-law, who was my brother's girlfriend at the time, they weren't married yet, walked in and said, "What are your parents doing?" And my brother Kevin just said, "They're talking." Oh, my parents don't do that. And it seemed weird to other people. To us, it was a normal Sunday afternoon. After this, Mom would start Sunday dinner, and we'd be back by 10 to 6 to set the table and dinner at 6. You miss it, you miss it. That's your tough shit. And
oh wow.
And I as strict as my dad was with us, I am so grateful to him for the way he showed us how to love somebody, and my mom the same way. But it was a beautiful thing, and I don't know if that was because he was very religious, or I think he just worshiped my mother. And having kids was just part of the deal of being Catholic. You can't, if you're going to mess around, you're going to have kids. And I think he would have been fine if he didn't have children. Not that he didn't love us. He loved us to death. Literally. He died so young because he worked so hard for us. But he just worshiped my mom. And that I'm so grateful to God and to him that I grew up like that. And and every relationship I was in, I expected men to be like that, to be like my father.
Right.
And most were. There's an asshole every now and then, but we've all been through them. But But yeah, so I know he would have been super proud of me graduating from college. And he would have liked that Catholic college thing too, because I had to take religion class. Well, I was a religion major, so for education, I was going to be a religion teacher. But I was blessed. But then, of course, the downfall hit,
Right.
and that was drug addiction. If you don't mind me saying.
No, no, honey. I want you. I want you to share your story. I want you to tell us everything that you're comfortable with sharing, because this is what my channel is all about. My channel is all about we do true crime, but we like to for people to be able to come and share, share what they want to about their life, and because I'm gonna tell you, sharing is healing.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I'm not ashamed to say I see a therapist every week, a drug counseling
Thank
therapist.
you,
And
Stella.
I've been sober for, well, I've been sober for almost 5 years. But before that, for 5 years, I was on something called MAT, which is maintenance. But it started when a relationship ended. I thought I was getting married. He got some girl pregnant and married her. He cheated on me.
I was
And
gonna ask you if you'd ever been married.
no, I 2 times came very close, but that God had something else in mind for me. I don't know what. Sitting here, but he cheated. I had a chronic pain problem. I have something called reflex sympathetic dystrophy. It's the grandfather to fibromyalgia. There was no fibromyalgia then when and then I have arthritis and numerous chronic pain things.
Good
And
girl.
so the doctors were giving me hand over fist Percocet, because back then it wasn't addictive in the late 90s. And guess what? It was real addictive if you stopped following directions. And I found out when I started taking them, well, this takes me out of my sadness. So I'm going to take more. And then more became more. Then you start getting 2 doctors to give them to you. And you don't fill them at this pharmacy, you fill them at that pharmacy. And then you have a third pharmacy. And one's your insurance pharmacy, the other 2 you're paying cash. And you're doing 400 or 500 Percocet a month. Then I stopped doing them. Then my brother died in 2000. He dropped dead from a pulmonary embolism. My favorite brother, well,
Wow.
I can't say he's my favorite. They're all my favorites, but my brother Michael, who was so good to me, he made me an aunt a little too young, but I was 9 years old when my first niece was born. But he was 12 years older than me, and he was very good to me. And he was so good to my mom. And after her stroke, he more than the other boys. And his death took me down that dark path again, where you get more doctors, more pills, more doctors, more pills. And then I stopped taking them. Then I just went crazy and just went for over 15 years on a run. It got no worse than Percocet, and I never bought them off the street or anything, always prescribed. So I thought I was okay. I'm not a junkie. They're all prescribed. Yeah. They should have one doctor prescribing them, not 3. And
Oh wow.
and getting
It's not.
so
It wasn't regulated either, was it? Like it is now.
no, that's why I could go to 3 different pharmacies, because it wasn't all computerized. That was my downfall when the computerization came in. But then I went to just one pharmacy, and they actually got shut down. They were known as the OxyContin Pharmacy of Philly, and they were in my
Wow.
neighborhood. And I never took OxyContin though, oxycodone. But they were filming them for me 2-3 times, like every 2 weeks. They shouldn't have been, but I was paying cash. They're
So
getting cash in
how
their
many were
hand.
you taking a day?
As many as 20. I don't know how I'm alive. I'm telling you, Miss Chewy, I don't know how I'm alive because they
The grace
suppress
of
your
God.
breathing. And there were times I had such bad congestion from them. And especially after my mom died. She died in 2009. And thank God I was there with her. I was holding her hand. I cheered her on. Go, go, go. Nana's waiting for you. Go, because she kept calling out for her Nana, my great grandmother. And I said, and 2 other sisters were with me. She had come home to die, and the siblings didn't get there in time. She had taken her last breath right before they walked in.
Oh.
Because we were told by hospice she would make it 2 nights. She didn't even make it through the first night.
Oh, that's so sad.
Thank God, though, because she was in so much pain. I almost wanted to put a pillow over her head. I felt so bad for her. She had congestive heart failure and she was like ripping apart. It was just horrible. But after her death, I went on a see you later. I'm just going to sit and take Percocet, not show up to any family events except Christmas, not show up to birthday parties, not show up to friends' houses, make arrangements to do something, then back out the last minute. I'm going to do all that stuff. And that's what I did for about 10 years.
10 years.
Pretty close to it. And get so angry when you're on Percocet, you get this thing called perk rage. And I would punch a wall because I was mad at something. Well, brick walls have no give. So I was ended up breaking my hands all the time. So I was in cast all the time. And I'm thinking, this is no way to live. This isn't you, Marita. You're the good girl. You were the one mom and dad had hope in. I was my dad's great white hope, and here I am not doing anything, on disability, just sitting around, eating them like jelly beans. And I finally realized you got to get in pain management. You got to get off this stuff. So I went in pain management. Now I'm sugarcoating this story. It can get deep in some places, but it's not all coming back.
I want you share everything. The more that will help you too.
I hope somebody, if I can help one person know that you can get off of that stuff, no matter what pain you're in, because I am in massive pain day in and day out. I don't take anything, but I was taking so many of them. I don't remember things that I said I would do. People said, "Oh, yeah, you told me to do this. You gave me the phone number." I'm like, "Did I? I don't remember that. What do you mean my landlord's address changed? I don't remember that." And I look back now like, no wonder you don't remember. I don't know how you remembered your own freaking name. And people say, "Well, it's only Percocet." No, that is the gateway drug. Don't let people tell you pot is a gateway drug. That's far from it. That's nonsense. Percocet, Vicodin, Tylenol 3, they're the gateway drug. Because what happens, I was lucky enough that I got smart enough to go into pain management, but some of these people just get cut off. And then they end up down K&A, on heroin that's mixed with fentanyl and xylazine and that other new drug that's even worse. And you've probably seen the videos. I don't know if you've ever seen the videos on YouTube. They're horrible. They're horrible with these people, how they're living in the streets down there. This is the neighborhood my mother grew up in. It's about 4 blocks from where my father grew up and where the houses are now $1.5 million because it's been regenderified. And that's what they're trying to do in Kensington now. but there's thousands of people living on the street down there. And that could have been me. And I have to watch those videos to stay sober. Well, I have to do a lot of things to stay sober. But to get sober, I had to go into pain management, get off of Percocet, take methadone, and take it as a maintenance for 5 years. And then Christmas Day 2019, I decided I don't want anything. And I just stopped. I weaned off. And it took a little bit because that stuff stays in your brain. You don't think you're taking much. Oh, 15 milligrams isn't much. Most people take 280 a day. It's still whatever your brain set is. Maybe my brain set wasn't set for 280. Maybe 15 was my cutoff. And since Christmas of 2019, I've been sober on
Praise
nothing.
God. That's
And
beautiful. Congratulations.
I am so grateful to God, grateful to my family who stood by me, my friends.
Did you hide it well?
People. Excuse me?
Did you hide it well?
I thought I did. No. See, my brother's a recovering cokehead. He's recovered 25 years of sobriety of alcohol. And so he kind of knew. And I have two sisters recovering alcoholics. And it's funny because my parents neither drank or did drugs, but my mother's family, there were people who did. So it comes from my mom's family, not my dad's. And everybody says, he's the 100% Irish. How come you didn't get alcohol from him? I said, they didn't drink. They were teetotalers. None of them drank. My father social drank. My mother social drank. They weren't drinkers. And we didn't even have alcohol in our house. It's weird but everybody has a story of why they became that addict or that alcoholic or that abuser of food or sexual abuse or, whatever they're abusing. Mine was depression. And I didn't know I was depressed. Now I know big time I'm depressed. And people say you would never know it. No, that's what medication does to you. It keeps you from letting you know that I'm depressed.
Exactly.
And we have to normalize that, because then you're going to end up with more drug addicts if we don't start normalizing depression. And that most people have some minuscule amount in them. And it just takes one thing to open that door. The barn doors get open and everything comes flying out.
Yeah, I've been there.
Then it's
it's
so common.
I'm on medication daily for depression and anxiety both.
Yes, I am too. I take a benzo, and it's funny. I don't abuse it because people say, well, benzos are so easily abused. They just help me. I don't take, sometimes I don't even take what I'm supposed to take. I only take it if I'm real. And it's more at nighttime to help me sleep. But yeah, I've been on Prozac for years and it helps. It helps me. And, but I recommend people, if you need somebody, don't ever turn your back on a therapist. Whether
I have a therapist.
I have a therapist. I have a certified resource counselor. I have a psychiatrist that does it's all in one place. It's a drug and alcohol rehab place. And it's right near my house here. And they're awesome.
That's good. It's very convenient too.
And my insurance covers everything. I don't pay a damn thing. And I just think, if you feel sad, go talk to somebody anyway. Maybe it isn't something that it's just a quick something, but make it normal. Don't make it that you have to sneak in the building with a scarf over your head or anything. Make it like, hey, I'm here. That's what I do when I walk in. I'm here. Let's
I
get to it.
remember the first day that I went, when I was driving there, I actually did a video and shared it on my channel of announcing that I was seeking I don't know how I want to say it, but I wanted help with my mental health. I need my mental health to be healthy. And
And
and I'm telling you, it's made a difference in my life.
it does, doesn't it? And it's a great feeling knowing that as a recovering addict, we help the other addict. That's part of our mantra, help another addict. And when you could do that, and even in if you're in therapy or if you're not in anymore, but you did it at one time, make it known to somebody. Like if you see that they're down, like, hey, don't turn your back on that. That helped me. And it helps me. Like I tell people, it helps me to this day, but it helped me uh, even when I went and then I stopped going for years. I regretted that because it doesn't take much to put you down there again. So it's always cool to have somebody to talk to, even if it's your priest or your minister. But sometimes I just think mental health people, I trust them a little more because my priest has to look at me every Sunday to give me communion. I don't want him knowing too much about me. Like even I don't go to confession often, but when I do, they know it's me. Father Chris knows it's me, and because the other priest doesn't even understand English half the time. Well, he does, but he does, his speaking of it is not that great. He's from Vietnam, Father Fong. But I know Chris knows it's me, and then I see him, and it's like, oh God, I just told him I hate long sermons, and he's up there for 15 minutes, and I don't like the way they put those poor boxes on the back there, but it's a simple thing to. It may seem hard to make that first step to go to therapy or that first step to get sober. But after that first step, it's easier to walk. And and I can't say enough about sobriety. I can't say enough about what it gives you back in life. It gives you back your family, your faith, yourself, and and your friends. I mean, people who kind of thought, I don't want to be around them anymore. Now people like being around me. And I find that refreshing because there was a time people thought, now Marita's an asshole. And Marita was an asshole. Let's call it as we see it here. I was an asshole. And, uh, but then they would say, well, we understand though. She's in so much pain. No, don't give me a free ride. Especially now, I don't want a free ride. I want you to tell me, like, are you using or are you just being an ass? Sometimes I'm still an ass. That's all. No, I'm not using. And and I just want it to be made normal again. That drug addiction, sobriety, and mental health, if you have any of that, seek help. And it's not making you less of a person. It's making
It
you a
doesn't make
better
you
person.
look weak. People think that makes them look weak.
Yes.
Especially, and I can see that especially in men. Men tend to think that if they reach out for help, that they are looking weak.
Yeah.
And I honestly, in my opinion, when whenever you decide to step up and reach for help, that's when I think I think that it takes strength to do that. Just like that's exactly what Brandy said. She says it shows strength when you allow yourself to be vulnerable and reach out for help. Exactly. So,
I lost my Wi-Fi. I have to take this in the living room.
Okay, you're fine. You're fine.
I have such crappy ass Wi-Fi that costs a whole lot of money.
Yeah, I tell you, I had to, whenever I decided I was going to be streaming like this, I had to beef up my Wi-Fi. And so far, so good. Who do you have yours through?
Verizon.
Well, okay.
I
That's
don't
who
know
my cell
if
phone
you
is
guys have Verizon or not.
Hi, Fonda. Thank you, darling. Oh, I want to take this opportunity real quick to thank Stella is okay again. Thank you for becoming a member, and thank you for the super chat, darling. You're awesome. We love you. Thank you for joining us. So, Marita, I was going to ask you, was there a breaking point for you? I mean, just a breaking point for you, or a low point to where you decided, hey, I'm done. I'm done. I can't do this anymore.
The first time I wanted to die, I kept. We're still living in the big house over on Loney Street here. I point like people can see where I'm pointing. I grew up the block up the street. That's how far I move. I only move around the corner from the house I grew up in. And I have the same phone number I've had my whole life, 62 years, same landline.
Oh, wow.
That's why I don't have to keep, I've moved 3 times, don't have to change it. But there was a breaking point back in the late 90s when I got dumped, so to speak, and found out about he was having a baby and everything. I wanted to die. And I had it all planned. Well, not planned, that was the thing. But I kept playing over and over again. Music is very important to me. And I kept playing Sarah McLachlan's Arms of the Angel over and over again, which was like an REM, Everybody Hurts. Like, don't play those songs. No wonder you're depressed. And I was just going to end it. I thought I could end it. And then I got pictures of all my nieces and nephews and lined them up. And I said, how will they remember me? As the one who couldn't handle anything and couldn't face saying, I need help. So what I did, I went downstairs and told my mom, I need help. And that was the first real breaking point on the bad side. And I got help right away. And the thing about getting that help was less than a year later, we did an intervention for my brother. And I was sober then. And because I had bouts of sobriety in between, but not like I do now, not like how I work it. And I didn't work it. I just kind of stayed away from it. But we did an intervention. That was before the show Intervention was around. We hired somebody, and my brother's been sober since then. He's one and done, 25 years. He'll be 26 years this month. And
praise God, that's awesome.
I know. Because he was only out ripping and roaring for about 10 years. But the only thing he had left was his job. He had no relationship with any of us, nothing, just his job. And that was the most important thing to him. And he just retired from there after 36 years. He worked at school too. He was the janitor. Mr. Brian. All the kids love Mr. Brian. They find out I'm his brother, I'm sister. They go, oh my God, you're so lucky. I go, yeah, really. I count those blessings every day. But those kids love them. And there is a video on my Facebook. If you look, it's got to scroll down a little to like June of his retirement from 2 years ago. They taped it and it was beautiful what the kids did.
Oh,
But
awesome.
that was a breaking point for me. Then I got sober. Then my brother's death. That's when I really broke. That was another time. But then I scrambled up again, got myself together. Then my mother's death, I just thought, F it. But then I decided I wanted sobriety. It had to be me.
Right.
It couldn't be situations. It had to be me. And I want it. I like this version of me. Like if I'm going to argue with you over religion, I know what I'm talking about now. I'm not just spouting some stuff off. And if I want to argue politics, I know what I mean. I'm not going to back down and say, okay, yeah, I believe you. You know, you want to go down and believe that. And I stick up for myself now. And I will not hide the fact that I am an addict, and I will not hide the fact that I am in therapy or take medication, which I used to do and think it was so wrong. And now I will not. I will be the first, as I just said on here, to tell you, go ahead, do it, because it'll make you feel great. And feeling great is way better than feeling like crap.
It's always better to be at least happy, a little happy than.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure you can attest to this, Ms. Joey. We're not always happy, even
Yeah.
when we're on medication.
Still
Life
have problems.
situations.
Yeah. Life is tough, guys.
It
Life
really
is
is.
tough. And we recognize that, and your doctors recognize that.
Yeah.
And that's what they're there for, you know. So if you're out there, please, and you're having any kind of depression or anything, please seek help. Please seek help.
Yeah, and never, if you're feeling low, you know where to find me on Facebook. Hit me up and DM me,
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
and I'll listen. I'll give you my opinion, and then you got to pay me for it, like a doctor. That's the Catholic part. You got to pay for it. Actually, the place I go is run by nuns, so no, it's not. They're actually good at something.
So do they have their habits on and everything?
They don't do the they have real people. My doctor's a real doctor, and my therapist she's young though. It's funny because she's the same age as, actually she's younger than my nieces and nephews. She's my great nieces and nephews' age. I was a young aunt, so I had I was young when I became a great aunt. I'm actually a great aunt, and that's weird because I don't think of, like, when I think of my mom, 62, I think, God, she was old. I think of 62, I'm thinking, I got like 40 years left.
I'll be 60 in December.
God bless you.
Yeah.
60 was a good year,
I'll
I
be
guess.
60. Yeah,
30.
I'm going to embrace it. I mean,
that's all you can do. We can only lie for so long. My mom used to lie about her age till my sister turned 39. And I was like, Mom, you're the same age as Eileen now. Look at that. You're twins. She laughed, but you know, anybody, you need help, seek it out. It's not nothing to be ashamed of. Actually, it's a badge of honor. It's you won a battle and you get a badge for it, just like in war. You get a little medal for winning a battle. As a matter of fact, on Tuesday, I'm going to tell him I want a badge. I'm going to tell my therapist that. I think I should have a badge. But no, it's and if it just helps you get on the road to feeling good, but always feel free to DM me. I'll always answer you back. I might not answer right away, but I answer back.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's me. I mean, whenever people send me, well, you can ask Sharice. Sharice is she probably is one of my biggest supporters on Facebook. She messages me quite often. We have some conversations. I know she's had some some things come up that she's needed prayer, and I am a huge prayer warrior. I mean,
Yeah,
I'll
I am
pray,
too. Believe it or
yeah.
not, I am.
Well, believe it or
Some
not.
people think like they just think Catholics are different. I don't know why. They'll say, "Oh, I'm a Christian." Well, yes, so am I. We all worship Christ. So, but for some reason, people think Catholics are just in their own little, like, we think we're the only ones in heaven, and no, that's the Jehovah Witnesses. I think they're the only ones up there.
Yeah.
I love.
There's only a few of those going too, isn't there?
Yeah. Yeah, between them and the Mormons. But I can't be knocking another religion because Catholics get knocked so much because they say, "Oh, you worship statues." No, we don't. I don't pray to any statue. I'll pray to the Blessed Mother. She's Jesus's mother. Come on, let's give her some props. She was 14 and pregnant and trying to pass it off as Joseph's. She was the first 90-day fiance.
She was, wasn't she?
I mean, I always say, come on, she's Jesus's mother. That's why we pay reverence to her. She was the only person born without sin. She was, everybody thinks the Immaculate Conception is about Jesus. It's not. Jesus was not the Immaculate Conception. The Immaculate Conception was the Blessed Mother. It's the conception of Mary without sin, without how we're all born with original sin. Mary's the only person who wasn't. And that's what the Immaculate Conception is. And I always laugh at people when they say, "Oh, yeah, you're pregnant. What is it, the Immaculate Conception?" No, because that's Mary. That's not Jesus. But, it's not, and the feast day is December 8th, and her birthday is September 8th. So it's 9 months. But, people think Catholics are weird. I could not imagine being anything but, and I love being Catholic.
So help me to pronounce this name here.
Aeneas
24. Are we butchering it up, darling? She says, yes, it's weird that they say Catholics are different. She's a fellow Catholic.
Oh, we've got another Catholic in the house. Yeah, another Pope, as they call us, follower of the Pope. And there's things in the Catholic faith I don't believe. I don't think the Pope is infallible. He's a human. I don't believe, now I might get a little crap for this one. That Last Supper, the long table, they don't believe that Jesus sat at they think it was a round table. So nobody was above anybody else.
I don't necessarily think, that we believe that was just Leonardo da Vinci's, his vision of it.
Yeah, what he depicted.
Yes. Yes.
But
you got to admit, it's a beautiful painting.
Oh, I love it. That is actually our altar. That's the front of our altar in marble. Is that?
Oh, wow. That's awesome, Sharice. I'm so glad he's okay. So her puppy eat a whole box of raisins.
Oh,
And so
Cherise,
yeah,
you'll
so
be
but
cleaning
he's
lots of
okay.
stuff up, doll. In that Texas heat. um, that I they also think that they weren't just 12 guys and Jesus up there. Women would have served them. So probably the Blessed Mother was there, Mary Magdalene, all the other Marys and Marians and Margarets, and they all would have served them. They would have not served themselves. Men didn't do that back then. So there's some things that I believe are a little different. I do believe Mary was there at the Last Supper, and Mary Magdalene was an apostle. And she was not the whore at the well. She was not the, she was, her name's not even said anywhere. When you get to that story about the woman at the well, no name is ever given. So I don't know where, like, I'm sure you've seen Godspell, right? One of my favorites. I mean, Jesus Christ Superstar. Godspell is too. But when she sings, I don't know how to love him, that she's, it's kind of like a Yvonne Elliman sings it from the movie about her being a whore. And I wanted to tell Andrew Lloyd Webber, Mary Magdalene was not a whore. She was a apostle, and her gospel, I would love to read it if they would ever translate it, and because I think they found it. I don't know. But she was, I think women were a little more important than we know. And there's a lot of stuff we'll never know. You got to remember the Bible was told through many different people in many different languages. And it was interpreted. A lot of it is led to interpretation. But
Well, I don't know but I know whenever I read it, whenever I read the Bible, I could read a verse or or verses
yeah,
and today, and God will reveal one thing to me. But then next week, I could come back and read the same thing again, and He reveals something different to me. I mean,
exactly.
I mean,
Exactly. It's not always the same. And the interpretation, like a lot of people think the wine was grape juice.
no,
No, it
it was
was
from
wine.
it was fermented wine.
Because when you read about the wedding of Cana, how they usually drank the good stuff first to get drunk, and then they drank the cheap wine, where Jesus made the good wine at the end. And they said, why is this wine so good? It's usually served. So there are verses in the Bible where people were drunk. Sodom and
Oh
Gomorrah, uh, so many places. And people say, no, well, it's grape juice. No.
yeah.
And people think with Catholicism, it's weird that we believe literally that the bread and wine is the body and blood of Christ. I believe that because that's how I was raised. And I got to tell you, when I was a kid and I was in maybe first grade, beginning of second grade, making my first Holy Communion that year. And in church, it was always my father, me, my mother, my sister Janine, because we couldn't sit next to each other. And then my brother Kevin and my sister Ann, the four youngest. And I was maybe 6 years old. And we're singing a song about eat his bread and drink his wine, flesh and blood of our Lord. And I'm like, I got to eat his flesh? I'm not doing that. I'm not making my communion. I'm not doing it. I'm not. And my dad's like, just calm down. And I'll tell you after we leave church. And so we're leaving. I'm saying, I'm not doing it, Daddy. I'm not doing it. And he said, it's a symbol, which he not supposed to say that because a lot of religion it is a symbolism. To Catholics, it's a reality that it really is the bread and wine, is the body and blood of Christ.
Yeah, the Christian church also. I mean, not just just the church, Christian church here we do that too. We
Well,
have.
I know you do, but do you? Here's a question for you. Okay, do you
Mhm.
believe it's a symbolism or it's a reality?
It's a symbolism.
See, we don't. We believe it's a reality. We believe the priest hands are magical. And they change it to the body when they say, "Take this, all of you, and eat it. This is the cup of my blood, the blood of new and everlasting covenant. It will be shed for you and for all men, so that sins may be forgiven. Do this in memory of me."
Yes.
And the same with the bread. And we believe, though it's a hard belief, and I think most people nowadays believe it's more symbolism, but we're supposed to believe it's the transubstant. Oh, somebody can help me out with this one because I always forget how to pronounce it right. Transubstantiation,
Well,
when
that's a
the bread
word.
and wine becomes the body and blood. And that's what we believe. That's what makes us different than other Christian faiths.
Look at it.
And that
We wash each other's feet too.
we do that too on Holy Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, they put 12 people around the church in different spots, and the priest it's the pastor that will do it. He will come around and wash.
Oh, here's that word.
It's I love what
Transubstantiation.
yeah, thank you. Aeneas
Aeneas.
Aeneas.
Are we pronouncing that right, darling?
Yeah, can you give us
I
like
hate to butcher names.
a phonetic spelling on that? I was right then. Transubstantiation.
Transubstantiation.
Great religion teacher I was, right? And I taught great religion. But it's we also have a belief that we got it right.
Yeah. And Aeneas.
Aeneas. That's a pretty name.
Yeah, it is pretty.
That's very
names. I was telling Marita right before we started the live what my real name is and how similar our names are. It's crazy.
it is because mine is such a different name, and
it's prevalent,
I never
isn't it?
It's very different, more different than me. And but back to what of the beliefs of Christians and Catholics, we're not all that different. Our Bible is different. We have 7 extra books. There's 77, where the King James Version only has, I think, 70. The Catholic version kept some old books in there. Wisdom, like other books of wisdom and stuff. I mean, nothing real off the basically it's all the same. We all believe the same thing. We are born, we're baptized in Jesus' name, we die in Jesus' name, and we go to heaven, hopefully. I hope I'm not going down, but it's been hot enough here that it's God's way of saying, if you don't like this heat and humidity, work a little harder to be a better person to go up, because this is just a taste of what hell's like. Because it's hot as heck here. It's going up to 95 tomorrow.
It's supposed to be like 105 index here tomorrow.
Yeah, we're getting 100. We're getting 95 with 70% humidity, which means you can't breathe. It's not. And if we didn't have the humidity, it would be beautiful.
That's what it is.
The humidity that kills you. And you guys pretty much have the same kind of weather we have, except I don't think it gets as cold in where you're at.
Oh no! I'm so glad. No, we don't.
I know when you guys get like an inch of snow, it shuts everything down. Where here it's like, oh God, this is a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Anything under 6 inches of snow is a pain in the ass, because it's just they're not shutting anything down, and sometimes they they do a late arrival for schools, but basically nothing really gets shut down. And I hate it. I just hate it. And it's coming. I hear the fire alarm going off. There's a fire somewhere.
Oh wow.
Now,
You live close to a fire station?
well, I live on the Philly side where our fire engines just come. Behind me, there's a volunteer fire company in the suburbs. There's like 4 different. You know who I live near? Bill Cosby.
Really?
Yeah, I am a block. The block behind me is Montgomery County, Philadelphia. Montgomery County. He lives in Montgomery County, and he lives about a mile up the road on Church Road. He's got a beautiful home, but it's a little bit overgrown now. He's still living there.
Is he?
His kids went to school here they went to Penn Charter, I think, which is an expensive school. It's a Quaker school. The Quaker schools are expensive. They're the good schools though. But even back when he had kids, they were probably $40,000. I couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
My parents barely could afford going to Catholic high school, and it was $200 back then. Now it's $7,000 to $10,000.
Isn't that crazy?
It is, and your parish. You go to church and give money every week. You give this certain amount of money. They pay for part of your tuition still, and it's still $7,000. Wow. And if you don't go to church, you pay out of parish. It's about $15,000. I don't know how parents do it. I when I went to grade school, it was $15, and it was called book bill. You didn't pay tuition; church paid it. You paid 3 books. When I left in 8th grade, it was $50, and my parents struggled with that because they had some in high school, and I don't know how parents do it because it's about $5,000 now, $4,000 go to grammar school.
And the Catholic Church don't believe in birth control, do they?
No, but they don't have the big families anymore. I only know of 2 families.
So tell me how that changed. How did if the church doesn't believe in practicing birth control, how do they control it now?
They turn their back to it, blind eye. Because I know plenty of people that are.
I start saying they have to.
Control. Come on, we've all used. I mean, it's just they don't question it. They and they shouldn't, because stay out of the bedrooms. And most families, the most kids you'll have nowadays, 4. There's 5 seems to be the largest family. And me growing up, that was like 5. That's it. But most only have 2 or 3 kids now. And so the classrooms that I sat in that had 55 kids in it now only have 15 to 20. And as a teacher, that's awesome. You have 15, 18 kids in the classroom. You could do so much more one-on-one. We never had one-on-one. We had the only one that was a good whack in the head was the one-on-one with the nuns or the lay teacher.
Did they really? They smack you in the head? I've seen
a ruler.
A ruler.
I got hit with a ruler in 1st grade. The metal.
Did they do it on your hands and stuff?
Across the top of my hand for writing my name in cursive. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to.
They don't want you to write your name in cursive?
I wrote my name in cursive, and my mom taught me. And the nun put down the religion book, Sister William James. I'll never forget her name. She laid my book and she said, write your name in that. So I wrote it in cursive, and she came back and said, why'd you do that? I said, you told me to write my name, sister. It was my first day of school. I had never been to school before. and she hit me with the ruler, and my dad was furious. I got pulled out of her classroom. That's all I know, because the woman
Good
who
for your dad.
teacher I've reconnected with on Facebook, which is pretty cool, Miss Langer. Well, that's not her name anymore, but I'm she saved me. But I don't remember if I had Sister William James as my homeroom teacher and I was pulled out, or she just taught religion. Because back then, if you didn't have a nun as your teacher, the nun would come in and teach religion. A nun had to be your religion teacher. Like they knew it better than a lay teacher. Now
Right.
anybody can teach religion, but yeah, they hit you. I literally saw a kid's head go through a blackboard. Jimmy Young, yes, and the funny thing is, it was a teacher who did it. It wasn't a nun. And the teacher's last name was Young too, Miss Young, and called his grandmother up because he laughed when she did it. And then not my nun, I had a nun, and I was across the hall, Sister Nevada's room, and she went over, and she was probably 80 years old, this nun, and said, call his grandmother. Well, they called the grandmother up, thinking, it would just be she beat the living hell out of him all the way down the hallway. He was on the ground like this, just beating on him. 5th grade, this kid's being so abused by his grandmother. And that teacher just stood there all smirking. And my nun, I was at the back of the room, so I was looking out the door. My nun was so panicked because she's the one who said, call the grandmother up. And she was so old. She was shaking like this and crying. And Sister Michael Marine, the 6th grade nun, one of the 6th grade nuns, had to hold the grandmother back and body slam her onto the ground to get her off the boy. And that was traumatizing, but it didn't change many. He was bad right up to 8th grade. But I mean, I had some fabulous nuns. I had a nun that had narcolepsy in 6th grade, Sister Ellen Mary.
Wow. I bet y'all were y'all laugh, wouldn't you?
Oh, we were so bad when she would fall asleep. She would just be sitting there and just go like this and fall sound asleep. And Danny O'Brien, his desk was right next to hers. He would shoot paper. Oh. He would take handfuls of paper clips off her desk and with a rubber band, shoot them at her, and then dance all over. And then Sister Michael Marine would come in the room, throw him out in the hallway, and then yell at us. I'm like, I wasn't doing anything. I'm just sitting in the back of the room laughing. But after she had to leave, but she did come back about 2 years later. I guess they got the narcolepsy under control because she was there when I graduated from 8th grade. But yeah, some of those nuns were the sweetest, kindest, about 3 of them. And the rest were just, man, they didn't want to be nuns. I don't think they wanted to be nuns. I think they did it for their families. Just like a lot of priests didn't really want to be priests. They were gay. They had nothing open to them back in those days, in the 40s, 30s, 50s. Same thing with nuns. I had a lot of nuns that I think were dudes sometimes, and just with a habit on. And anything you did wrong, the lights went out and rosaries had to come out. Say a rosary, and then we'd all be saying the rosary, and you get your hands off from the rosary beads. Yeah, and it's funny now when we all get together, or like at a class reunion stuff, the stories that I didn't know half the crap that went on because there was 2 other classrooms in the same grade, and you're hearing from other classrooms, not just my classroom now, and the stories they get more wild as we get older. You start hearing other stuff, and then it's funny, but it's also very traumatic. Some kids were very traumatized, and we weren't even that bad. But I did have a nun, Sister John Elizabeth, lovely nun. She thought I had the greatest name, Marita. So Sister Marita Charles gets me in the schoolyard. She's an 8th grade nun. She's actually one of my siblings' teacher at the time. And she says, and this is right after I got hit, so I was pissed at all these women. And she said to me, "So your name's Marita?" I said, "Yes, sister." And she said, "Are you named after a sister?" And I said, "Oh, no, they all have their own names." I was thinking, I knew what I was getting away with here. Like I'm talking about my sisters. And she said, "No, I mean a nun." I said, "No, my dad wanted a boy and he was pissed off. He was angry." I would have never said pissed off. He was angry, so he found the ugliest name he could find. And then I walked away with my Philly soft pretzel because that's what you got for a snack every day, 5 cents.
Ooh.
You got a big Philly pretzel. And I'm licking the salt off, walking away. And then Sister Charles Marie is yelling, "Your name's beautiful. You have no idea. You're named after the Blessed Mother." And I'm going, "Yes, sister, yeah." Eating my pretzel. Yeah, I wonder what happens. I guess she's dead now, Sister Charles, because she was old back then. But then I thought they were all old, and they were probably only in their 40s. But they made life interesting. Let's just put it that way. And then I had the first man lay teacher in 7th grade. He was so cool. And the nuns didn't like that. Everybody liked him because he'd bring a guitar in. And this is the mid 70s. He's playing Jim Croce songs and stuff. And we're reading plays and we read Pygmalion, we read George Bernard Shaw, we read poetry, we wrote poetry. Like he was very cool.
Interesting. He made it very interesting.
He did. Like you wanted
and
to
enjoyable.
go to Donnelly's room. Mr. Donnelly's room. He was the best. Yes, Philly steaks are the best. I see that right there. And I think I'll have one tomorrow now. But it was like so cool. And then you go back to your homeroom and your nun and your boring education again until the afternoon when you get to go back to his room again. And then it was even spelling was interesting. And so there was good things and bad things, but the best thing is we learned to have respect for one another. We learned to love. We learned how to behave. And that's why Catholic schools are still open to this day, if you ask me. Parents want their kids to have some kind, even the non-Catholic kids that go there now. They want a basis, their child to have a basis to grow up on.
I think everybody needs, and parents need to be able to have the choice of their child's education. You know?
Oh, yeah. Well, we have here called charter schools. Other than the public school system, the charter school system. So if you can get your name on a list and get in one of them, they're pretty well. They're much better than the Philadelphia public school system. That's tank.
You know, it's crazy though. I mean, the government will pay for your child to go to public school, but won't pay for your child to go to private school, and that. I think that's
because of religion.
Yeah, could be.
And they don't want them to have religion. And I
think they should have the choice.
I don't know if I believe religion belongs in public schools. I grew up, it wasn't in public school. I never saw a Christmas tree. I never saw Hanukkah, anything for Hanukkah or for Passover or for Easter. But we all knew it was the holidays. We knew winter break really meant Christmas break for us, the Christians, and spring break was Easter break for us. But, it was what it was. But I don't think we were any less. I think today, I don't think we never had the 10 Commandments in a public school here. Maybe back in 1800s, but it was always separation of church and state. And I think it should stay that way. Religion has to start at home. And is the 10 Commandments going to make our country any better? I doubt it.
Only if we live by them.
Exactly. And where did we start teaching children?
Yes.
Little children at
Uh-huh.
home about the 10 Commandments, like I was taught, like you were taught, like most people in this chat were taught. We learned from being taken to services every Sunday, whether it be church, mass, a tent revival, the synagogues, wherever. I think it's got to start at home. And until it does, we're not going to really move forward. I don't think if I taught in a public school, it's my job to teach your child religion. Now, I do believe in quiet time. I think every homeroom should have 5 minutes of time that you can pray or do whatever you want to do. Get your mind together. You could do whatever you want in that 5 minutes. Just like any, because it's not fair. If I in high school had those kids were made to say the Our Father, 85% of them weren't even Christian. They don't believe in the Our Father. So why should we force that on them? Just because we think we're a Christian nation. We are in an extent, but
we're a free nation.
Exactly.
That's one thing of being able to be, for us to have freedom of religion, freedom, period.
I mean,
because I don't know if you are familiar with any of this or not, but I know Genghis and I have talked about it and showed it before, but we watch these Iranian families.
She's been talking about that lately.
The last 2 days, the government sent in bulldozers and soldiers, and they bulldozed down every one of their houses.
Jesus God.
These people have nothing. And they were, they had built these channels, and people were donating to them and helping them to be able to survive. And the Iranian government came in and tore them all down. It's awful. It is terrible. If you get time, check it out, because I mean, it's just heartbreaking.
And that's what happens, I think, when you make a country a religion. You can't.
I love you, Biscuit Head.
You gotta have more than. I think that's the beauty of America, is that we're all different. And there was a time when we all respected each other's differences. It's just been in this past 8-10 years where this religious fever just started, and I'm not going to blame it on any certain party, any certain person. It just started, and then it got I look at, it's the simplest thing of being on Facebook, and I look at posts from kids I grew up with, guys that were older than me, who hung up the wreck here, who were doing drugs, drinking, doing things to girls that the girls really didn't want them doing. And now all of a sudden they're political analysts, they're medical analysts when during COVID. And I said to one just the other day, I said, do you remember when you couldn't string two sentences together that were coherent? And now you're suddenly know what's best for this country politically, and that your religion. I said, you cut school half the time. You weren't in school for religion class. You know nothing about religion. You're just spouting off, almost regurgitating what you're hearing on certain channels. And I said, John, you don't know what you're talking about. Study a little and then say something. And I know now. No, you don't. No, you're still as dumb as you were when we were teenagers, and you were trying to get in any girl's pants that would look at you twice. And he was a good-looking dude, but he was always drunk or high. So, and that's when I get angry, when they start thinking they're scientists and theologians. And I said to them, when's the last time you stepped foot in a church? So and so's funeral. I said, well, I went to that funeral, and that was 8 years ago. So you haven't been in church in 8 years. So till you get your ass back at church, then, because I think going to church, going to services, going wherever you want to go, and getting yourself tuned up. Sometimes people need a tune up with God. And all God ever asks of us is 45 minutes a week. Unfortunately, I have to give him an hour because my priest speaks for 15 minutes. he thinks he's really good at sermons. And he is. Till he starts saying, amen, people. And then we got to say amen back or hallelujah. And I said, oh my God, we're Pentecostals. Catholic Pentecostals. But I like it. I mean, he's a good guy. He's a good man. And he's done a lot of good in our church in the 2 years he's been here. But I mean, people who say the most about religion do the least to worship. And now, do you all have to go to church all the time? No, but will kill you to go once in a while.
It's
Christmas,
good for you. If you get
Easter.
fed, they feed. That's why you get fed.
Yeah. And to me, people say to me, well, why do you go every week? Because the Eucharist. I can't get the Eucharist at the deli down the street here. I can get a good Italian hoagie, but I can't get the Eucharist. And the Eucharist is what nourishes my heart. That and some music. And I just like to worship with people. And to me, that's an important step of being Catholic and being a Christian or being anything. Because even I watch on Friday nights synagogues. It's called Central Synagogue. I go to their service every Friday night at 6. I pull it up on live, and it's beautiful. I don't know what the hell they're saying, but it's so uplifting, and it's the same God. It's just they're not talking about Jesus or the Holy Spirit. Actually, they do talk about the Holy Spirit, but they not talking about Jesus as our Lord and Savior. To them, he's just a prophet, and it's beautiful. And we all have the same God. He's the same man to me. That we all. Now, I have a sister who's an atheist, hardcore atheist.
Your sister?
Yes, she's only a year older than me. And when we were kids, used to argue with my mother about the Holy Spirit. Well, why can't you see him? And she drove my mother one day so crazy that my mother yelled at her. My mother never yelled at us. Because you can't see him. That's why. You just can't see him. God doesn't want you to. And she said,
You feel
"Oh,
them.
okay," and then bounced away with her little blonde hair bouncing around. Janine is she's a musician. She's writing a Broadway play right now, but she's talented beyond talented. But she just even when she was in Catholic school, she didn't believe it. She said it's a book written by men. That's all. And I try, for years, and I've just given up. We all have. We just, that's
We
her
just
right.
pray for her. Pray for
Yeah,
her.
that's all we could do. I pray for her all the time, and I always say, God, just let her see one little speck that might open the door. Let her see a speck. But she says, why do children die? Why, God so this or that. And and some things she does have valid points on, but it's just the way it is, Janine. I don't know. I didn't make the rules.
He
Oh,
has a reason.
exactly. And that's what I tell her.
But we're not supposed to question it. But we're human, and we do.
Yeah, you can't help but doing it.
Right.
And doing it. God, I hate bad grammar. We can't help but do it. And
Lord, you'd hate mine then. I'm so Southern, hick Southern that
that
my grammar is.
no, your grammar's fine. No, you don't have bad grammar. My nephew lives in Georgia. He lives
Oh,
in
okay.
Warner Robins.
I don't
Uh,
know where that is. I'm not a
near
Georgia girl, but
Macon County. Macon. He's like by the
now
Macon.
Macon sounds familiar because
Yeah.
of.
He's about 100 miles outside Atlanta or something. It's where the Air Force Base is.
I drove to Atlanta. Which Atlanta's only like 4 hours away from me.
Yeah, he's about an hour or so away from Atlanta. But yeah, he's lived down there since he was 12. And it's funny because he had a Philly accent, then the Southern accent. Now I don't understand a damn word he says because he's got the Philly Southern thing going, a Southern Philly accent. And his kids are all Southerners. And his wife's a Southerner. But uh, and he's faithful. He doesn't go to church, but he still believes, and he'll write to me every once in a while. Aunt Marita, I'm still a Catholic, even though I'm surrounded by Baptists. His kids are Baptist. I'm a Catholic. I said, good job, Sean, because they want a kid named Sean Brendan Patrick McNichol, that with the red hair, and you're too Irish. His father's parents are from Ireland. Uh, my brother's ex-wife, but he's a good boy. But now your grammar's fine. But yeah, she doesn't. She always questioned it. Always questioned it. It's not something that she decided to do when she got older or something. From her childhood, she questioned it, and you got to give her some credit for that because a lot of us don't question it. We just take it for what's written. I give her some credit, but I always also pray for her that she sees the light. Now, the rest of my siblings, only two of us are practicing. The rest will tell you, if you ask them, what are you? They'll say, oh, I'm a Catholic. When's the last time you went to church? Oh, wedding, baptism, this, that. They don't go to church, but they'll say they're Catholics.
They believe it, but they're not practicing.
Yeah, they're lazy. I call them bedside Baptists. They're just lazy. They're on Sunday mornings. They'd rather be in bed. It's like, well, the church gives you 5 different chances on Sunday to go. You got 6:30 in the morning, 8 o'clock, 9:30, 11 o'clock, 12:30. You got Saturday night at 5 o'clock. That's when I go. I said, there's plenty of chances. You live a block away from the church. Everybody walks past your house coming home from church. And my niece and my sister go, yeah, but we don't want to go.
I know of one Catholic church here in, it's probably about 20 minutes from me. But on my road alone, just my street that's right out here, there is 1, 2, 3, 3 churches. And I'm talking with a 3-mile street in rural Tennessee. That's just right here. That ain't counting all these over here on this
all the
part
back
of
ones
town.
that you don't
Yeah.
see. Like around me, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 Catholic churches.
Yeah. It's all about where you live, isn't it?
Well, but the schools have closed down, and they all go to my school now. Most of the schools have closed down. St. William's, St. Albert's, and St. Hilary's are still open, the schools, but that's where the rich people go. I do go to St. Hilary's sometimes because they're faster. But they're all within like a mile radius. But within a 3-block radius, I have a Baptist, a Lutheran, a Catholic, a Presbyterian, a Methodist, and an Episcopalian church. And within a mile down, there is a Kingdom Hall. So there's something of everything around here.
Yeah.
But it's so many people have moved out of the neighborhood, all the old Germans that were Lutherans, that's really not that crowded anymore. The Methodist church up on the corner here, I don't even know if they're even open anymore. If they consolidated, because COVID shut down a lot of churches.
Yeah, it did.
Some didn't reopen. I don't know if Fox Chase United Methodist reopened or not. But the Presbyterian's still open. The Episcopals, they're all still open. And it was neat growing up because I had friends that were of all different. We weren't all Catholic kids. And it was kind of cool. And there's a synagogue not far away, too, because they're up in the other end of Fox Chase is all Jewish. It used to be, not anymore. It's Catholic now. But it was all the kids I went to high school with lived up that way. And it was an all Jewish neighborhood. And but yeah, we have a little of everything around here. And that was always cool. I like that. And it makes me sad that I don't see all the cars parked there on Sundays anymore or anything and I don't know if it was happening before COVID, if was just dwindling down, the Methodist, and did they combine with another church somewhere? Now that church just sits there. The Baptist did close down because there's no Baptist around here anymore. And that became a Christian Indian church.
Oh, wow.
For people from India, but they're Christians. They're not Muslims or anything. And that's a very thriving parish. And it's directly across the street from my church. And ours is crowded still. It's picking up again. It's starting to, people are coming back. I think we should stop streaming Mass on Sundays and bring everybody back. It's time to bring them all back. COVID's over. It's going to be here forever.
Yeah.
It's part of what's going to be. So if you want to wear a mask, I never knock anybody for wearing a mask because I have family members who have COPD and stuff. My brother's a stroke recovering victim. If I was sick, I wouldn't go around them. And so I never knock anybody for wearing a mask. But they want to wear it. But time to come back. It's time to stop streaming Mass and get them all back in the church. Because it's okay for the older people if they don't want. But I know some young people who aren't coming back because of COVID. It's like,
well,
you'll go to the bar on Friday nights.
Yeah.
I see, your car when I drive by, but you won't go to church on Sunday because of COVID.
It's an excuse. It gives them an excuse.
Exactly. Well, I watch it online. Yeah. No, you're not getting Eucharist online.
It's not the fellowship. You got to have fellowship.
Yeah, I love fellowship. That's the word I wanted. Fellowship.
Yeah.
I mean, and singing off key like I do.
Yeah. That's me. That's just like I tell Gatekeeper, which I don't know where he is, but Gatekeeper is my husband. He's one of my mods here too.
Okay.
I'm the type person that when I get in my vehicle, I like to turn my music up and driving down the road, and I don't care. I mean, I want to sing. I sing. I love to sing. And
Exactly.
who cares? Who cares what I sound like? As long as I'm having fun. And I beg him, please just sing with me. It doesn't matter what we sound like. As
Exactly.
long as we are enjoying it and
You could
having
be
a
the
good
next
time.
Garth and Trisha. I love Garth Brooks.
Yeah.
But I
He
don't
has a
drive,
tour.
but I'm the passenger who controls the radio, and I love classic rock and roll, classic music, 60s, 70s, 80s.
Oh, me too.
That's my
Me
jam.
too. Me
That's
too.
my
I
joint.
love
That's what I'm into.
classic
And I
rock.
do like
Love it.
some country. I like 90s country. This new stuff, I like Jelly Roll, but I don't know
I
any
love
of
Jelly
these.
Roll.
They all sound the same to me. These
Morgan
girls,
Wallen. Morgan Wallen. He's a
I don't like
local for me.
I don't like them.
You don't like him?
No, he's not a nice person.
Yeah, I know what you're talking. I know what you're
Yeah,
referring to.
yeah.
But
But then you got to forgive. But then you give him more chances, and he does stupid stuff again.
a lot of people do stuff when they're drunk.
Yeah. Well, that's what he needs help with,
Yes.
if you ask me. Like,
Okay.
what's
I
her
get
name?
it.
Ingrid Andress. She admitted I was drunk when I sang. But who's the person who let her go out and sing that? Who's the person who didn't realize she was drunk? That's who we should be yelling at, not her for going out there. She was fulfilling a contractual thing, but her people who oh yeah, she can go out. That's one of the hardest songs to sing. Because it's like all over the place, the national anthem, and
Yeah, it is.
why they let her out there. But I'm like you, I'll sing it. I don't care. And I admit, sometimes I don't even know all the words. Just make them up as you go.
Exactly. As
It's
long
a
as
McNichol thing. We all
you're
do.
enjoying it and you're having a good time. I get it.
Exactly.
Always late. He actually grew up probably about 15 minutes from me.
Yeah,
Just over
he
the
is
next
in that
county.
area. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, his music's good. I'm a big fan of Jason Isbell, and he and Jason Isbell had
Mhm.
a big falling out, and he did the cover of "Cover Me Up," which
Yeah.
Jason Isbell wrote for his now ex-wife, which makes me sad because I liked when they were married. And I I was mad that he thought he did it better. I'm like, no, you didn't do it better. But Morgan Wallen is talented.
He's a
He's got,
great songwriter.
that's what I mean. He's an awesome songwriter. Good
Mhm.
looking fella. He's got checks every box, except he needs some help with the bottle. And if
Yeah.
he would accept some help, like if Jelly Roll would talk to him and say, hey, dude, let me help you out here. Why are you canceling? He's canceled too many uh, things. And
Yeah.
I give Jelly Roll props for how he stepped in and did stuff. And I like that Jelly Roll is letting Allie Colleen tour with them. Because you got to see her, didn't you? When you guys were at one of the
Yes.
she's a great songwriter.
Yeah, she
Now, her
is.
singing's not the greatest. It's good, but she writes some really good songs. She's got her father's talent, but I know she doesn't
Yeah.
like to hear that.
No, she don't claim it, does she?
No, she wants to
No.
do it on her own.
She's beautiful too.
Yeah, she is a pretty girl, and
Mhm.
I follow her, and she's big on weightlifting and stuff, going to the gym because she used to be heavier. She's a really good songwriter, and she I think she'll be something, and she'll do it without her father's name. That's why she chose not to use Brooks. Because that's got to be hard too.
Yeah.
Imagine your father's a 9-time Diamond Award winner, more than the Beatles, who I love. And
Oh, I love the
I would
Beatles.
love
Oh
to.
my goodness, yes.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Yeah. I
So
know Dumpling. No, I wouldn't want to be in the spotlight. Okay.
no, I wouldn't either, Dumpling.
Mm-mm.
It's hard, and and I give him some wiggle room for that, being in the spotlight, and but you can't call people names, and you can't do the things he did.
No.
Like he's lucky he didn't hit that cop. That cop would have been 8 stories. That could have killed somebody. Or
Always late. Exactly. Martina McBride. Oh my
oh, her
goodness. She's
voice.
just amazing, isn't it?
I remember when I first heard, and it's funny because up here when we do the fireworks that on TV they'll show them down on the river, and they'll always play that song Independence
Oh,
Day.
phew.
And I'm like, it's about domestic violence. It
Yeah.
has nothing to do with the 4th of July.
Exactly. Only because of the name, and yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
she
It is.
does a
It's
lot
a
of
very sad song.
yeah, she does a lot of faith-based music. I like her for that. And
Yeah.
but I'm a big Trisha Yearwood fan too. Her music's good. But if we're going to go 90s, Brad Paisley, man. Oh, he was my,
Yeah.
I love him. He's so
And I
cute.
love his wife too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's a
Oh,
great actress.
yes.
And
Yes, she is.
I remember taking my whole softball team. They were in 4th grade, 5th grade to see that movie, Father of the Bride. I took all the girls to see it. And I used to take them like once a month to the movies, my softball and soccer team when I coached. And they loved it. It was so cheap. Now you can't take 2 people for the price I used to pay for 12 people. But
Oh, Sharice, we were talking about Garth Brooks' daughter. Whenever we last year in September, we had the little purple tent in Baileyton, Tennessee. She was an attraction there. She sang. She's beautiful and has a beautiful voice, but yeah, Garth Brooks' daughter.
yeah,
That's who we're talking about.
Cherise, she's a great songwriter. I recommend you look into her music. I think it's on Apple. I don't have those apps. If you have
And what
those
was it?
apps,
How do you pronounce her name again?
Ali Colleen. I
Allie
don't know why
Colleen.
because it's spelled Colleen, but it's
Yeah,
her. It's Garth Brooks' mother's name.
gotcha.
It's her middle name, Colleen. And, and but yeah, she does not use her father or use her stepmother for anything. She does play at that new bar they have, though. She does go there and do a show every few weeks. And talking about that Morgan
We
Wallen.
were talking about Morgan Wallen too, Dumpling. We were talking about the little trouble that he got into, but yeah, Morgan Wallen, he's a local for me. So,
Yeah.
and
Now,
these songs that you said, that 865, that's my area code here. So yeah,
I'm 215.
yeah.
I'm a Bob Seger girl. I like that kind of
Oh,
stuff. Bob Seger, the
and I hate
Cranberries,
it.
REM.
I hate it that we can't enjoy and use, that music and being able to, just like us sitting here and talking about it and not being able to bring it up and
I
and,
know
and enjoy it because of copyright.
copyrights.
Yeah.
That's so mm. Because yeah, like somebody who doesn't know Ali Colleen or Morgan Wallen, I can't name a Morgan Wallen song other than Cover Me Up. And I don't think of that as his. I think of
Sand in my
that as
boots.
in his
Sand
book.
in my boots. Sand in my boots, a good one.
And yeah, that's his newest one. Always Late. Isn't Bob Seger awesome? I want the
Uh,
famous final scene played as they wheel me out of the church at my funeral. And if they don't, I'm coming back and haunting every little son of a bitch that was there. I'm going to get them all. I asked for
yeah.
that song. My
Yeah.
church won't play it. They only play hymns. And our hymns are, you know, I am not a fan of, and I'm going to get lambasted for this one, Amazing Grace, because I didn't grow
Oh,
up hearing that. We just
really?
started playing that maybe the past 25, 30 years. That and
Oh,
How Great
wow.
Thou Art. They were considered Protestant hymns, not Catholic.
Really?
Yeah. Like you guys probably don't play the Ave Maria.
No.
We do. I can sing that in Latin.
It's a beautiful song.
Yeah, I know. It brings tears to my eyes.
Yeah.
It's still because you think of where it's played. It's played at every funeral. It's and every wedding when they're putting the flowers on the Blessed Mother. But it's the most and the beginning, the organ dun 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 dun. It's just
Where
like
you been, Ronald?
oh Ronald's here. Oh God, Ronald, I'm drunk on your love. We're not talking politics, Ronald. I remember going to see Myrtle Beach years ago playing 8-track. Yeah, 8-track. Oh, always late. You're my age then. 8-tracks.
Oh,
Remember 8
yes, yes. Oh, yeah. I can remember my favorite 8-track was, and I had to put a little piece of paper in the side of it, to make it, just right where to fit in there and it would play correctly, was Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell.
Oh my gosh. Ah, Jim
Yeah.
Steinman wrote all that music. And do
Mm.
you remember the song Total Eclipse of the Heart
Oh,
by
yeah.
Bonnie Tyler? He wrote that too. Everything he did was like a show. And when he wrote Paradise by the Dashboard Lights.
Ooh, God. I
Oh, is
still
that
listen
a
to that. I
banger?
still listen to that and
Oh,
I
I listen
love
to it
it.
all the time. And people, young people go, well, what's this about? And I go, prom night.
Will
And
you
if
love
you go
me?
to
Will
a
you love me?
bar or a wedding, that's like the first thing is. I don't go to bars anymore because I'm too old. Like I used to play softball for them in soccer. I never drank. Never drank. Never had time for that nonsense.
Well, I can't say that.
Well, I've had alcohol before, but I was never. I wasn't a bar.
No, me neither. No,
At that
I don't
time,
like it.
I didn't like the taste of
I
beer,
no, I don't.
and
Oh, me neither. Oh,
and now I stay away from it for other reasons because I don't want to pick up another crutch. But you always request Paradise by the Dashboard Lights or Journey. Don't stop
oh.
believing.
Yeah, my granddaughter's name is Journey.
Oh, really?
She
What
was
a pretty name.
named after the band Journey.
Good, good job, mom and dad. There,
Yeah,
it makes you
she's
proud, does it?
gorgeous
That you
too.
raised them right.
She's gorgeous.
At least
Actually, my
you
daughter
didn't.
just sent me a message. I'm gonna show y'all.
At least you didn't name them after Kiss or Metallica. This is my granddaughter, Metallica.
She's the one in the middle. That's Journey in the middle.
Oh,
That's
look at
my
that.
my grandson, and my granddaughter. Of course, that's not hers. She's my middle son's Journey,
Oh,
and
beautiful.
my middle son is a music freak. He collects vinyl albums. So
So
yeah,
does my brother.
yeah.
He has all his old one, and then he collects now to the point where his wife said, "No more. Start selling them." And he said, "I'm not selling them, but I just won't get any more." But music, I actually have a shirt on. Music is in my blood. It's about. It was one of our radio stations was doing a blood drive, and you got a free T-shirt. This thing's old though, but it's music is how I talk to people through me. Like I'll pick a song that represents that situation and that time period of my life and like who I was dating. Like I'll hear a song on, and I'll say, "Oh, that was our song," or for that certain person. It's and I don't think there's anything wrong with listening to music.
Thank you, Denton.
Some people think, oh, you can only listen to Christian music or so.
Hmm.
Ah, No, any music. I don't listen to anything that's too headbanging. I don't listen
No,
to
I
hard
don't
rock.
like this. These people that do that. You
I
can't
don't
even
listen to metal
understand what they're
music.
saying. The grunge or what is it
Yeah,
called? I can't
grunge
remember.
music. I
Yes.
listen to some grunge because I like Pearl Jam and
Oh
I like
no. Yeah.
Green Day, but
Pearl
they're
Jam,
light
Last Kiss.
grunge now. It's not like
I
that
love
hardcore.
I love Last Kiss. Pearl Jam.
Oh, I like the original by Bobby Hyland, was it? Back in 1960, I think that
I
came
don't think
out.
I've heard that one.
Yeah, that's a remake.
Oh, okay.
But that's the only song you can understand him singing the lyrics. Notice everything he does. You know, what the hell is he saying? My favorite song by Pearl Jam is Yellow Ledbetter. And for years, I didn't know what the lyrics were. I'm just like, I love this song. I wish I knew the lyrics. Now I know the lyrics, and it still don't make sense. It's about somebody coming home from Vietnam War, I think. But it's like I had to look up the lyrics, and and I still don't see how they fit in. But it's a great song. They're a great band. But I'm a big ELO fan, and I saw them. That's the last concert I went to right before COVID. Uh, and I grew up having 7 older siblings and a mother who was an opera singer but loved Jimi Hendrix and Aretha
Mm-hmm.
Franklin and all that. And then my dad was Frank Sinatra, Frank Sinatra, Frank Sinatra, Frank Sinatra, and all that stuff and big band music. So I grew up on everything. So I learned to love everything. I love big band music. I love Tommy Dorsey, Jimmy Dorsey. I love Louis Armstrong. I love Judy Garland.
I'm like that. There is some bluegrass that I like too.
Oh, I love bluegrass.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, Alison Krauss is so talented. And then even go back to the Carters.
Oh yeah. See,
June Carter
they
Cash's
were
mom.
they were local for me too.
Yeah, that's right. Very local.
Yes, very local. Yes.
And even Dolly Parton. That woman to me is a saint. If anybody should be given an award for just being a good Christian
Yes.
person, it's
Yeah.
her.
She has done so much
Getting
for
children
not
to
only
read.
our area here, not only for our local area here, but for look at the books that she gives to
How
all these
many
children.
books? Like
Oh,
millions.
millions, millions.
And I tell everybody when they have a baby, sign up for that book thing with Dolly Parton. Baby will get a book every month, and till they're what 3 or 5 or something.
Yeah, 5, I think it is. Yeah.
And that's all she had to do to make me love her. But then she does beyond that. And I know people hate Taylor Swift. I'm not a Swiftie. I'm not. That's not my music. Not.
She can write some songs though.
I loved her country stuff. I thought she was
Hmm.
very talented. I don't know any of this newer stuff, but people think she's demonic and all that. I don't know. I don't live with her. I
I
know
pray for her.
she's a Catholic, and but she gives back so much money of what she has to people, and she's a billionaire.
Yeah.
32 and a billionaire. I'm trying to make my rent.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
Yeah, you know where I'm coming from.
I know the
Everybody
feeling.
in the chat feels this way. We're all trying to make our rent, but she she gives, and I don't care about her demonicness or any of that. I'm not getting into that. I'm getting into the fact that she gives back. Dolly gives back. Look what Brad Paisley does. That's the store, it's called. So it makes parents can go and get free food, and the kids just think they're
Hmm.
going to the store because that's what my mom would say. I'm going to the store when we were going food shopping or something when I was a kid because I always went with my mom because I got to pick out the ice cream, the cookies, and the cereal. get over on the siblings. And so he gives back there, and now they're doing school give back. Like, go in there and get all your school supplies for free. That's all it takes. Garth Brooks does Habitat for Humanity, plus a million other things we don't know about. But it's people like that who do the simple little things. And I think country music kind of has the corner on that. I think because it's down to earth more. And you have a better chance of running into your heroes in country music than I have a better chance of running. Like, I have a better chance of seeing Brad Paisley in a supermarket than I do Bob Seger or Jeff Lynne from ELO or any of those people, because people probably shop for them. Where these
they're
people,
they're probably getting up there too, and they probably have people that have to shop.
yeah, or where
they're gone.
You'll walk into a supermarket. You might even see Morgan Wallen food shopping,
Right.
or in a mall in Nashville, or throwing shit off a roof on Broadway.
Right.
But
chairs.
You have a better chance of going in a bar down on Broadway and hanging out with one of your country music heroes.
Yeah.
I mean, I could probably see Alan Jackson in a mall in Nashville. I would love to. Isn't he hot? And I also think Trace Adkins. There's something about him. I don't know if it's his voice. There's just something that, like, I got like, oh, hi, Trace.
Yeah, he's got a beautiful voice.
But
Raising Cain, Prince, OMG. Oh, Prince, I love Purple Rain. Oh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ronald, we're not talking politics. Ronald.
It's all Ronald. Ronald loves politics.
Ronald, I swear, Ronald is I think he's. No, I'm not even going there because I'm not bringing other creators into this.
It's okay.
We're going to stay away from Nelly.
We love you, Ronald. Okay.
I love you, Ronald, but I'm not doing politics. This isn't about politics. We're just talking.
Thank you, Ronald. Thank you very much.
We're talking about life, Ronald. Just fun things. Don't you like fun things, Ronald? Don't you like music? Sheila E. Oh, yeah, with Mars Day and the Time. Oh, oh. I think I want to know you. Like Prince. Oh, my God. What a waste of talent. I hate when these people die so young.
I know.
Even Michael Jackson.
That's what I was just ready to say, Michael Jackson.
With all those weird quirks and he had no chance to be a child. He was raised in that weird religion. He just never had. He didn't have birthdays. He didn't have Christmas. No wonder he was so childlike. His mental state was in there as a child. And what he did, I don't know if it's ever true or not, because he's gone. And some people say he did it. Some say, no, he never touched me. So I don't know. But his music was, to this day, played at everything I go to. Any graduation party, baptism, wedding, anything, anniversary, everything. Michael Jackson is the main. If you don't play Billie Jean, this party sucks. Yo, DJ, you suck. Put on some Billie Jean. And he had so much good music. And he just there too, drugs. And it was a drug that I've heard of only because I've had surgeries before that I was given that drug. Yeah. And it's a weird drug. I'm sure if you've ever had surgery, I'm sure you know what it feels like. It's a weird drug. And what was it called again? It wasn't fentanyl. It was I can't remember this. Well, whatever. It was for surgeries to kind of like put you in another world before they knocked you out. Always late. Michael Jackson was just he the talent. I'll never forget sitting around TV, all my friends, when you're my age area, so
propofol.
Propofol, yeah.
It's a
When
benzo.
when we all got together in 1985 to watch the 25th anniversary of Motown when he did the moonwalk for the first time. I'll never
Oh,
forget that as long as I
crazy.
live.
Yeah.
I remember where I was. I guess it's like what my older siblings when they first saw the Beatles on Ed Sullivan. I mean, I was 2 years old or 3 years old. I don't freaking remember. I was probably annoying them. Hey, let me play with your hair. I was a little spoiled brat. But they know that. Like I remember where I was. I was at my best friend's house and we were sitting on the floor and her father was making all these comments about it, like, oh, look at him. He looks ridiculous. Then he did the moonwalk and he went, oh my God. He
Yeah,
said,
that
but
was
he
very
wasn't the
impressive.
first to do that. What's his face was? Gene, not Gene,
Gene Autry? No,
no,
not Gene
Fred
Autry.
Astaire.
Fred
Fred
Astaire.
Astaire
Yeah.
was the first to do the
Gene
moonwalk.
Autry. God, where'd that come
Gene
from?
Autry. He
Ugh.
did it on his horse. But I mean, they were the things that I remember. Like, do you remember Live Aid? I remember where I was
Yes.
watching that
Yes.
because it
Yes.
took place in Philadelphia.
Oh, it was. Yes.
And it was at,
We Are the World.
yeah, we had
Yeah.
at JFK Stadium. It took place, the United States part took place here. And of course, Wembley Stadium was the England part. And I remember all my friends going down, leaving at like 6 a.m, coolers full of beer because they'd let you take anything in there back then. And they were taking cool. And I'm like, you guys are crazy for going down there. It's going to be so hot. I'm not going. And I stayed home, watched it on TV, had a better look, but they had a blast. They still to this day talk about it. They post pictures every year, and the anniversary just passed last week. And I just remember the vibe in Philly was so amped because it was taking place here. And we were on worldwide TV and we had to show our best selves. And for once, Philly came through. We didn't make asses out of ourselves. We didn't do dumb thing. We just loved the music. But billions of people around the world watched that. And that was our Woodstock. Because Woodstock, I was 8 years old. I was in second grade. I don't remember Woodstock. I remember some of the
No, it's in
bands
the
only
outskirts of it.
because
Yeah.
they were listened to in my house by my older siblings. But I'm sure I know people that were there. I know a few people, but they're dead now because of drugs. But they were my brother's friends. But I don't know. Like I know people that went to Live Aid. I know hundreds of people that went down for that. Half this neighborhood went down, all the young kids. And I think tickets were $20 for the whole day for general admission.
Oh, wow. Ain't that crazy?
I know.
Can
And
you imagine what that would be now?
yeah, I mean, if you got in the front, they were more expensive, probably $30. But general admission, and they just sat and you party with 1 million people that were from not all from Philadelphia, from all over the country, our country, who came into Philly for this concert, and it was great. But there was 105,000 people in that JFK Stadium. That's not counting the people out in the parking lot who could hear it from there, and the people that lived all around it in South Philadelphia who could hear it, the concert. It's just amazing that concert in such a short period of time came together so quickly. And the best act to this day was Queen. Queen used their time the best. And I
Yeah.
always loved watching their little 20-minute segment.
Freddie
They
Mercury.
were awesome. And
Yeah.
I can't say there was a bad act in there. And there were some acts I'm not a big Rolling Stones fan, but he was awesome. And when he sang with Tina Turner, he was awesome. Mick Jagger. And Tina Turner was, God, man, if I could move half the way she moved. She had legs like up to her neck. But it's music takes you places. It could make you happy, make you sad, make you thought provoke,
Yeah.
make you
Right.
think about things.
Makes you think, yeah.
Yeah,
Biscuit Head, Celine Dion. I was so happy to see that she is doing better. And that song was just, I mean, even though I didn't
I
understand
wish
the
I knew what
word
she
of
was
it,
singing.
it was beautiful.
Oh
But
my God, did that?
in
And that
my
came out of
opinion,
nowhere. And it's funny when we were watching it. I said to my pop, he's my bestie's dad. I just call him Pop. I said, "You know who this is going to be? I bet it's Celine Dion." I said because I hear French, and she's the only French singer I know because I knew it was somebody popular. And he said she's Canadian. I said, but she's French Canadian. She didn't speak English till she was a teenager. She spoke French. He didn't know that, but he's old. He don't listen to her. And she was awesome, awesome. I mean, the only thing that screwed that up was that weird.
I'm going to tell you right now, that was the only part of that ceremony that I would ever watch again. The only part.
That was I liked, but I liked when they lit the cauldron too. But I think it would have been cooler had it been at the top of the what you call it. Oh my God, in Paris, the
Hold on.
Hey,
Hey, Miss Chewy, how are you?
hey
I'm good.
Jankies.
Chewy, I'm so devastated over my nomad family.
I know I was sharing it with Marita in the game.
Hey, everybody in the chat. Hey, Biscuit and everyone.
Hi Jankies.
Hey, and Ronald and Raising Cane. Hey, Marita. Hey, Always Late. I've been watching them, and I think that one of the people I watch didn't buy land on. See, what it is they knew they shouldn't have built their home on that property. That property was kind of like if you went in a national forest and built land on it, you'd get your house tore down.
Oh.
It didn't belong to them. And hey, Dublin, and they built land on it, and that's why they got their houses tore down.
So tell me something.
Horrible.
How do they buy the land though? Because if you remember Nargis and Marita, I'm sorry, we're
I think Mohammed and Nargis
this is interesting.
I think Mohammed and Nargis is okay because they're in the village. They're not in the mountains. I think they're okay. They had their show today.
I know. I watched it. I
think my Shukafi, the Suffering channel that I tell you about, I'm pretty sure she made sure she didn't buy land on what is it called? What is that called? The territory,
like the reservation type.
It's like what was that called? They're not supposed to be messing with that land because that land's for growing wheat and
it's agricultural land.
Agricultural land. They're not supposed to be living there.
That's what Gatekeeper said too.
Yeah, they knew that before they even built their houses on that land.
Yeah, we were crying. I was crying.
I know.
So that's the reason I kept telling you last night. I said, "Oh my God, what are we going to do?"
I've been tore up all day over it. So tore up.
He's just like, well, no, maybe not. Whatever. I'm like, yeah.
I think Mohammed and Nargis is okay.
Oh, I hope so because they are my favorite. They are my favorite.
They didn't tear them down with the people in the houses, did they?
No, they gave them 48-hour notice.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
They did take out 2 of my other channels.
Farmland, he said. Farmland.
Yeah. They did take out 2 of my other channels, though.
Oh, we were so upset last night.
That woman with the 5 kids, they're getting ready to take hers.
Oh. Well, at least some of them are taking, stuff off of it. But I'm thinking, well, maybe they can go down to where you're talking about down like where Narcissus is. Down, they're more down in the valley part. But
Thank
if you
you,
remember, all the wheat was growing there too.
and thank you, always late. That's so horrible.
And he says,
I guess here in the United States, it's called eminent domain. It
"Oh
would
gosh."
be the same
Which I'm going to
concept,
do
I
a
guess.
story about an eminent domain. It's about a story about a
Mhm.
family down here in Pigeon Forge. I'm going to do a live on it soon, and it's crazy what these people have to endure. It's crazy. So it could be something like that too, like you said. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know.
But you gotta you guys, if you haven't watched how these people live over there, it's so sad, and
It is so sad.
it
Yeah,
makes you
it's
realize
so sad.
how we have it here.
Yeah, it
I
really
mean,
The
yeah,
whole country's in poverty.
it's awful.
I
It's
mean,
awful.
there is no driving line in between the Joneses and wanting to be the Joneses. They're all wanting to be. Unlike like if you go to Dubai, where there is a poverty line, but most are above it, and those who are below it work for those who are above it. In countries like Iran and Iraq and Afghanistan, that are basically men driven. Women
Yeah.
are just put in a burqa, have a baby, and live on a dirt floor house and one room. They really have no say in their life,
Hmm.
and they're all basically in poverty. I think anyway, from what I see.
They are in
Have you do you
poverty.
watch?
They're very
Yes.
poor.
Oh, it's
They're very
bad.
poor, and the government's not helping them any at all. Like,
That's horrible.
it's bad. But we have homeless people here. You know.
Yes.
Um,
Oh yeah, yeah.
But the worst thing about the homeless population here is the drug population, the
yeah,
drugs that's in there. Which
Well,
they do have those over there, some, but not
yeah.
like it is here.
I'm going to speak from a little bit of knowledge on that. Is the homeless problem here in Philadelphia? 50, 80% of them down in K&A are not even from Philadelphia. They're from other states. They come here because of the drugs, and they are offered homes and help and shelters. They won't go into shelters because they can't do drugs in a shelter. Why did my phone do that?
Right.
And they won't go into rehab
So
because they
sad.
don't want to go through drug withdrawal.
I'm
So,
so heartbroken, ain't you, gatekeeper? Is
and the
gatekeeper
people
heartbroken
like
too?
our
Oh,
Chewy.
he is.
soldiers.
He is. He just he when I was after I went and I put on some makeup to come on my live. I went into the living room and he was just like he was telling me so and so this and so telling me all about it because we watched so many of those. I mean, it's just yeah, they do stuff for drama to make it more interesting, but this proves that it's not all fake because
No,
some people say, oh, it's fake what they're doing, but it's not. I
and
mean,
it's sad.
it's sad. It's really sad.
And you look at our soldiers here, who some of them don't want to go into housing because they really need mental help. And again, we go back to that part of mental health. Mental health needs to step up and start. See, in Philadelphia, they closed all the mental hospitals. And what happens? These people go out on the streets. Well, we only had two mental hospitals, and one's still open, but it's not big. And the big one that we had, Byberry, closed down. Now it's a haunted building that on Halloween you go and pay $15 to walk there and get scared of all the. But they have nowhere to go. and some don't want to go into housing. They like where they're at. Biscuit Head, I have not said anything bad about Marita besides we were all getting ready for the Democratic convention. Oh, Ronald, please, no politics. And yeah, I am. I'm watching the Olympics. Is what I'm doing. I'm watching Simone Biles.
Well, that's the only thing that I'm missing about the Olympics. Well, I like the gymnastics and I like the swimming. That's two of my favorites.
Well,
But
I won't.
I've decided, nope, I ain't doing it. I am not watching it.
I won't boycott it because it's not fair to the athletes. They didn't ask for
It's
that.
not fair. It's not fair to them. It's not. But I'll watch it later.
They didn't
on
ask
replay.
for that nonsense. They just they're caught in a quandary. It's I feel bad for them because 4 years they've been practicing for this, and then some stupid French crap, and
Yeah. It was nothing about their culture, their heritage. I mean, it was nothing about
the only
that.
thing that was that Marie Antoinette, the beheading thing,
Yeah.
because Marie Antoinette,
And that was just weird the way they
but
did
that
it,
was
though.
weird. But the French are weird. No
Yeah.
offense, I know I've lots of.
Hey, Marita, offended.
I have friends in Marseille and stuff. I have a lot of French friends. They are they're artistically different than us. They're artistic. They're the way they feel, like you see it when
Where you going, gatekeeper? Don't take off.
When they do Dionysus and stuff. Like they could have made that so it didn't look like the Last Supper. That could have been.
That was intentional. That's exactly what they were going for.
Because they're weird. Like their art is different. That's what I don't mean weird as the people are weird. The people are nice.
I've been so heartbroken tonight, Chewy. I just been so heartbroken.
I don't know, y'all. You think I get a copyright? I'm going to show one of them. I'm going to show one.
No, they won't copyright you. They don't. I'm just so heartbroken.
Yeah, it is. It is absolutely.
And they don't have shelters to go to in Iran, I'm sure, or Iraq, or why did Iran change their name when it was Persia? Such a pretty name, Persia.
Oh, she's got a live. We only got 14 minutes to your live, girl.
I know, but I have something I have to talk about, Chewy.
Yeah, I know what it is. I got a message about it a while ago.
Yeah.
Well, here, let me show this real quick.
I don't want to take away from yours. That's why I didn't say anything about it.
You'll be glad you did.
That's why I didn't say anything about it in your live, Miss Chewy.
I got you. And then
I thought you came to see me.
It's of course, Marita. Of course.
Thank you. Thank you. And when I ever get the guts to drive somewhere, I'm going to Kentucky to get some food from you because your food always makes me hungry.
Well, come on, child.
Especially your roast beef, pot roast, whatever.
Okay, here we go. Let's look at this one.
See this, yeah.
Oh, it's so bad.
Life in ruins. Okay, now I know what the.
She had a heart attack practically. She was so tore up. They had to get stuff out of the sheepskin, water out of the sheepskin to calm her down.
Now it's the government that's taking all this down?
The government took that down. Yeah. They were able to get their stuff out. Some of them acted like they was going to stand up against them, and they couldn't stand up against them. They were soldiers that came in.
Look at that nice home.
Yeah, they work so hard.
They do. They literally get their kids out there, and their kids help build their homes. The land belongs to them, but after a certain amount of years, they can't build on it after a certain amount of years, and they went ahead and built it on the land. But they were so homeless.
Where will they go?
It's okay, Raising Cane. You can eat next time. Raising Cane's been to the restaurant.
Oh, Raising Cane with the roast potatoes.
I've been to the restaurant.
It
Mrs.
looks like
Chewy,
it's good.
Easy Hensley, Christine, Ernie.
Oh gosh, you could have went all day without saying that.
Ernie came in and he was recording like he was a YouTube star.
Oh gosh. Oh, look at this.
But
Is that her husband or is that a government official?
I don't know who he is. This is a different channel than what I watch. But I've
Yeah,
seen the footage because the other channels are playing this footage.
He looks like he might be with the press or something. He's dressed very nice.
Hey, listen, if I could move Shukafee and her 2 babies, 3 kids, and her husband, and her, maybe not her mother-in-law, but if I could move them in my house in America, I would, honestly. And I could move Susan and her 5 kids in my house too. I wouldn't care in the least.
Now, what happens to all this stuff?
Well, what they do is they do scavenge a lot. So they're scavengers. So what they'll go in, they'll get all the blocks that's reusable, and they'll take and they'll make a temporary hut somewhere with it. And then they got YouTube channels. A lot of them do. So the YouTube channels will fund them enough money to go buy a piece of land they can build on. A lot of them build their YouTube channels by building these huts. People love to watch them build out of nothing.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean that's just like there's this one channel we watch. It's Mohammed and Nargis and
Gaza's 2000.
Yeah, Gaza's 2000.
Nargis,
but
Mohammed.
we watched them, and his brother just started a channel the other day. I'm talking at what 3 or 4 days ago, Jinkies.
Yeah.
And he's already over 5,000 subscribers. Yeah. And it's just like, golly.
So if they're going to get enough subscribers, they can make some money off of this, right?
Oh, they do. They do. But we don't know how much money they get.
Yeah, I mean, what's their dollar worth? I mean,
they
domains. They call it domains. They use domains, and they're like a penny to us. So that's why they say 1 million domains.
That's just horrible.
Yeah. So their house might have cost about $2,000 to build over there. But $2,000 is a lot of money.
It's probably like 2 million of what their money was.
But I'm gonna jump down, guys. I love y'all. I got to go and get some stuff together, and you have a blessed day.
I'll be over there, okay?
Sorry, Chewy, I didn't mean to do this. There's stuff I've got to address.
No,
there's some stuff that got out of hand tonight.
I get it. It's fine. We've been on here. We're going on 4 hours anyway.
All right, I love y'all.
3 hours. Love you too. Thank you for coming up.
Bye, everybody in chat.
Good night. That is so sad.
It is terrible. This is just a glimpse of it. I mean, it's just.
I'm gonna have to look this up.
Yeah, it's.
I have a feeling this guy's depressed or something.
I'm not sure. Gatekeeper, he told me Gatekeeper is a lot more. Hi, Whistle. Hey, baby. I hope you're feeling better, darling. Gatekeeper is a lot more. He knows a lot more about it than I do. I'll watch them and stuff.
Yeah,
and there's certain ones that are really, really, really interested in. But he follows them very closely.
So sad.
And Yeah, it's
And then, it makes you feel guilty for complaining about stuff.
yeah, I know.
I still have a beautiful roof over my head, and I open my fridge, there's too much food and stuff, and I worry about dumb crap, and and
Yeah, I know.
people have no home.
It's
I have a
heartbreaking.
beautiful home. Pain in the ass to
Right.
clean,
You're
but
warm, you're dry,
yeah,
And when you watch this, when you watch what these people go through, it's just like, oh. And then seeing what's happened over the last couple of days is just like, oh, because when me and Gatekeeper first started watching it, we watched this one family that's called Peren, Peren. I think that's the name of it. But we watched them, and when they first started building their house, for some reason, a bulldozer or something, some piece of equipment came by and clipped the corner off of their. I thought, well, why would they do something like that? That don't make any sense. Why the government would send somebody to do something like that? Well, they built this big, nice place. I mean, it was beautiful. I mean, well, for
in
their,
terms of what
yes, yes, and they had all their goats, and they were making buttermilk and yogurt, and just doing so well, and building, and they had two handicapped children
they don't want you
that
to do
lived
well.
there, right? And the special needs, and they were beautiful children, but and then now it's gone. It's all gone. They just came through and they just bulldozed it all down.
It's so sad. It's so
Yes, we
scary
do.
too.
Exactly, Sharon. Hey, baby, thank you for coming by. We do. We take it for granted. When you see this stuff, you think, "Oh, dear Lord."
Yeah,
Mm.
do take it for granted, because I remember I had the simplest problem. Well, it wasn't a simple problem. It was a pain in the ass problem. Mice last year. And I thought it was like the end of the world for me, because I threw away thousands of dollars of things. And I still have a roof over my head, still have food, still have other things, and sometimes you don't need many things to begin with. Like those people, they're nomads. They don't travel with a lot of things, just the necessities in life.
Right.
It's the problem. We have too much extra. And because out of any country, I think we had the most disposable income, where we'll have, I don't have cable TV. I can't afford it. I don't, and, but a lot of people get those streaming services and all that. And I think, what a waste of money. But, it makes them happy. And if they have it, but then you look at something like that where they don't even have a TV. They probably have a little radio that they get their news from or something, and they listen for the prayer siren to go off every, what is it, 4 hours or something, so they can pray to Mecca. And it's sad that's and those mothers work so hard, and they all live in one room, and you can't get away from each other. It's just very, I'm
Oh,
I
there
have
it is. I found it. Gatekeeper. Yeah, it's.
sad.
Look at this one. Let me get this. Let me get full screen.
Oh, geez.
That's the one I was just telling you about. The Peren. P-E-R-E. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what they'll do is scavenge the wood and stuff so they can build somewhere else.
Yeah. They'll do the.
Perin.
Yeah. Peren. P-E-R-E-N. Peren or Peren. Yeah. You're the school teacher.
Oh, don't make me right. That's why
Let
we
me
had teacher books.
see if you look. Let's see. This is
Look at that
what.
beautiful home.
Yes. Yes.
And they
This
knocked
is.
it down?
Yep. But y'all, I know, I realize we can't watch it all, but here now, look, see here they're taking stuff out of it, trying to save what they can. And there's one of the
Beautiful. Oh,
special needs. That little boy's name is Mohammed.
that's everybody's
Yeah,
name over there.
yeah,
It really is. It's the most common name in the world.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So there they were. Let's see in here.
And what do
There
they
comes.
do?
There they come. There they come to destroy it. There's the government.
I used to always wonder why in these countries their cars are always white, and I think it's because of sandstorms.
Well, the blue trucks, all of their trucks are blue,
Oh yeah, they are.
and but that color of blue is like it's sort of like religious for them.
Oh, okay.
They believe that color blue is sacred, or yeah.
Look at that. That's just evil.
Isn't
I
that
mean, even if
terrible?
these people were wrong for building there, I mean, come on. What do you need all that land for? Half the country looks like that. Most of the country is just desert and dry. Why are you taking?
They don't. Apparently, they don't want this on YouTube because they
Well,
don't want
too
the
little,
world
too
to
late.
see. Yeah, what life is really like in
This is what the
Iran.
news stations should be showing
Right,
instead of half the crap they show. I don't give a crap about Kardashians. I give a crap about people like this.
right. Let's see. There.
I don't think I've even seen the Kardashian show.
Oh, me neither. I don't have any desire to.
Exactly. Trash people. That is so sad. I wonder if these bulldozer people feel guilty or not.
Well, we were watching one yesterday. Oh, Nargis house is trash. Oh my goodness. We were watching and we saw some of the soldiers, with their head down, with their head in their hands. So, but I mean, they're soldiers. They have to do
Yeah, they're the ones that are going to get killed.
right, right. It's awful. But I mean, they just got there, and that's the first time I've seen two of the bulldozers together.
God bless them.
But it's just heartbreaking.
Hey,
Yeah.
Norton's house is trash. The roof tore off of everything else. It's like
The one on the mountain.
they're doing all of them.
Yeah. Well, Jinkies was talking about the ones in
They're
the
doing the ones in the agricultural land, but they don't want them on YouTube.
Look at
They
that.
done
okay.
behemoths, they done roads,
Mm,
they done all of them in there. And they're right there next to Nargis.
You're right, gatekeeper.
yeah.
You don't want the world to
Nargis
see
on the
anything
mountain.
else.
You know the guy and woman that was building in front of them? They're tearing their house down because they're coming that way too. They're gonna get them all. They don't want those people on YouTube because it shows the world what the country's like. They're appalled by them filming. They don't want to see how they treat their people, and every one of them is like having a fit over the what they call them, their Islamic government, section of the government that they say they're sick of them. They're the ones that's doing it because they don't want them to have anything. See, they done by YouTube is paying them money, and that makes them self-efficient. They can do what they want, buy what they want, and nobody tell them any otherwise.
Yeah.
See what happens when you have religion as your government?
Yeah.
They're always Islam is. That's why you can't have religion as your government. And I love religion. I love God. I love Jesus. I love being Catholic, but it's not for everybody. Somebody else is something
So
else.
sad. So sad.
Look at this.
Yeah. So when you go to bed tonight,
Everybody say a prayer.
say a prayer for these people and thank God for what you have.
That's even bigger. Thank God for what you have.
Yeah.
Because, oh,
Yeah.
God. Oh, well, Miss Chewy, thank you so much for
No,
having me
thank
on.
you. Thank you. We enjoyed it. We enjoyed it. And I especially would love to thank all of my peoples.
They are awesome people. Can I just tell you that?
And
Because some of you I didn't know before this. And I knew most of you, but some I didn't. And thank you. And thank you for letting me just
so
babble
don't
on.
believe everything you hear, okay? Don't believe
And
everything
even
you hear.
Ronald, even Ronald, thank you.
Right.
We'll
But
even thank Ronald,
I
but not
want to,
Donald. Just Ronald.
yeah, we love Ronald. We
We
love
don't love Donald though. Well, I don't.
him. Yeah.
Um,
We won't go
yeah,
there.
exactly. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
But
But
I don't love any of them. So.
right. No.
But
I just pray for America.
that's all we can do. Pray
Pray
for
for
America.
America.
Pray for our children. Uh,
Yes.
Gun violence, drugs, just so much. And no, we're not the only country, but this is our country, so we got to start here.
So please subscribe, Marita. Please
Oh,
come
I
back.
am. I
Please
am.
come back and join us.
Oh,
I
I definitely
usually go
will.
live on Wednesday nights.
I'm just so honored, and I want to thank everybody in Biscuit Head. Thank you for asking for me.
Yes.
I really, you don't know how honored I feel. I really do. And thank you so much. And I had more stories, but that'll be for another time. I have
Well,
fun.
you're welcome. Just so you know, you're welcome because I have open panel quite often,
Well,
and you are always welcome to come over and join us.
thank you so much, Miss Chewy. And I'll see you, I'm sure, on Jenkies in a little while.
Oh yeah,
Put on
yeah.
my pajamas and
She's
have a
probably
cold.
already started, so I gotta
You better
go
get
ahead.
moving.
Yeah.
But thank you so much. And it was awesome. God bless you.
God bless
May the
you. Thank
Lord
you.
be with you and your sweet man there who doesn't want to come on camera because he's probably really
Oh,
good
he
looking.
does. He has. You'll
Probably
have to
really
go back.
good
You'll
looking.
have to go back and look. He has
And he knows Marita's kind of like checking out guys.
it.
Want to come to Philly? Huh?
The
I'll
lady,
make
my
yours.
mods, especially my
I'll make
mods,
you a
they
cheesecake.
like gatekeeper over here.
Thank you, everyone, and God bless you all. Good night. I
Goodbye.
love you
Thank
all,
you. Love you
and
too.
peace, love, and Bobby Sherman, everybody. All right. Good night.
Good night. Okay, babies. Um, there's a lot that's happened while we were here, and like I said, I want to thank you guys so much for staying over here with me, because I know I go up against a lot of drama that's going on right now, but a lot of bad things have happened here in a little bit, so we need to go support Jinkies and see, so you guys can see exactly what's happened since I've been live. But I love you all. Thank you so much for your faithfulness. Um, you guys you guys are absolutely amazing. And I need to, let's see, uh thank if I can get back up here now. Let's see. Well, it's not wanting to agree with me. If I can find it now. This is not good. Oh my goodness. Okay, now I see it. I got it. I got it. I want to thank Stella. Stella, you're amazing. Thank you so much for becoming a member, first of all. And guys, if you haven't become a member yet, please, that's the best way that you can support a YouTube creator, is becoming a member. And Stella, thank you so much for the super chat. You're awesome, and I love you. So guys, let's go help Jinkies out. Don't want the world to see. Yes, I see that. I see that. But thank you again. I love you. Bye.